Hello, StarCraft fans. We are back with another day of the ASL. This time around, it's Group D. And joining me once again is our resident Protoss. It is Razz. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Nyoken. How you doing today?
Doing good, man. I've been looking forward to ASL. Last week we had a lot of Terran players and Protoss players make it out through the week. We've had no Zergs at all make it through so far, other than the one seeded into the round of 16. And I'm looking to see my boy Action be the first Zerg to make it through. But he always has a tough time in the ASL. And one of the reasons he has a tough time is because of that guy sitting right next to him. It's best. Every single season he runs into this guy and he just can't get past him. So I'm hoping maybe today, finally, he could get past his nemesis here.
See what he could do. Maybe this is his moment to finally overcome best to get past him, and just make it through. I mean, what's good for him is two Terran in the group. Every time I see him play ZBT, it's just very, very good.
Yeah,
He plays crazy game, man.
really, really good. Let me do the volume again. All right, I think we're probably good at this point. Um, for you guys in the chat right now, actually, I woke up this morning and noticed I had static in my microphone, so I panic installed this AI suppression tool, noise suppression tool that I had used before. So hopefully the mic sounds good. If it doesn't, well, you can let me know, but I don't know what else I can really do at this point since ASL has already started. We'll have to try and fix it for tomorrow. Um, but as far as the rest of the players in this group, we've got two Terran players. We've got Speed right there, and Team Liquid had mentioned that Speed is playing really well. And actually, the Team Liquid um, updates on players last season, specifically mentioning that Sharp was looking really well or really good last season. He went to the round of four, so maybe Speed is someone that can go deep this tournament. But we've also got another Terran player in the group C. If you guys listened to last season's cast, Gypsy, not the biggest fan of C, but I really do like C. I think C is very, very talented, but out to get out of this group, I think it's going to be pretty rough since Best is a PvT specialist and Action is also a Zerg versus Terran specialist.
Yeah, I think it definitely difficult for both of these Terran players here, but I have seen Speed play recently, and he has been playing very well. So the question is, can it translate onto the stage? It's always different when you're up there by the computer. And all of a sudden, you're in the ASL, SSL. You're like, oh my goodness, it's my moment. Can they overcome that little bit of nerves, as you play into it?
Well, I will say this about Speed because last season it couldn't have gone worse for him, right? He died to literally one Reaver followed up by just a bust by Snow. Do you remember that game on Radeon?
I do remember he snuck in that shuttle like just in the smallest amount of tiles to actually get into his space.
Yeah, so I guess one thing that Speed can find solace in is knowing that literally it can't go worse for him compared to last season. And Motive already, had probably the unluckiest game of all time in tournament history. So it can only go better for Speed, right? There's no way he can do worse than what we've seen. So hopefully he'll not play nervous and do well. We're getting a speaking to with C. I wish I knew Korean better so we could unmute this and listen to what they're saying because C is one of the best players or used to be one of the best players. He's also variety streamer. I'm curious to see like if he's talking about how he's practiced, is he playing a lot? We had that kind of same type of question for Rain last week. Is Rain even playing? Rain is one of the best players. He can definitely go really far, but if he's playing League of Legends, he's gonna get eliminated, man. But he brought it in his group versus Queen, actually knocking him out.
Yeah, if you're playing League, it does make it a little bit more difficult to get out of your group. Doesn't quite translate over the same into StarCraft, just dealing with one character and all of a sudden having to be all over the map with everything going on.
Yeah, it's a little bit tougher unless that one unit is maybe an arbiter running in there to recall. Other than that, I can't really think of. Okay, I guess the Reaver too. Those are the only two units that I can really think of to only need one of them in micro like crazy and potentially win a game. Now that is an interesting spot. stat at the bottom. I think that says it's been 2,788 days since there's been a match between Best and C. So we're talking, what is that? 7 years, legit 8 years almost. That is a crazy amount of time.
That's a crazy statistic to find out. I want to know the person over there working in SSL that was like, "This is the one. Found it." Haven't seen these guys play in 8 years. Maybe they'll be back at it today.
Imagine if you're a fan out there, it's like, man, I really want to see Best and C rematch, and you're thinking that back in season 2, and season 3 comes, oh, it'll happen eventually. Season 4 comes, oh, maybe not this season, but maybe the next one. Season 5 comes. When do you lose hope that it's never gonna happen again?
I mean, I'd be nervous if I was that person still thinking I want to see it because that would have to mean that Best and C both either win or lose in this group. Like they can't even split results, so they might be still waiting for that rematch another couple days here, maybe a whole another year.
What a tilter that would be if they finally get into the same group and then they don't even play.
They don't
Oh
even
man.
actually play each other.
Right. Well, let's see here. What's this stat say? Protoss. Something about action and Best. It looks like versus Best, he's been 3-8 overall. Like I said, the past couple seasons, Action ended up facing off versus Best, and I don't remember actually a single game that Action won. So even though the stats say like 3-8, I feel like it's a recent 4 game winning streak for Best. So maybe today finally he can break it. For those of you out there that have not watched the past few seasons, I highly recommend you going and finding the game of Action versus Best on Nemesis. That was an absolutely wild game. Mind out map, 50 minutes, absolutely crazy.
Yeah, Best, very solid man. Just a very solid player, really good. I'm excited to see what he does today and how he handles the maps and what his build order choices are going to be, because he's definitely someone who you'd like to see play and want to mimic, but his macro is just crazy. You start watching this game, you're like, oh my goodness, all these gateways are just flying all the time. He's impressive.
It is definitely true. He macros like a god. Like he legitimately can have like 20, 30 gateways, Protoss versus Terran. But what I like the most about Best is that he'll play a variety of strategies. Like when you have somebody like, okay, I don't watch Protoss streamers, so I could be wrong here, but at least when I think of, like Bisu and Protoss versus, or right, generally it's, Corsairs into Zealots, that type of nature. But with Best, even though he does play Corsairs a lot, he'll mix in Maelstrom. He'll mix in, like just mass goons, Goon Reaver. He's not someone that's just going to go Corsair every single time. And then also, when Remastered first came out, for whatever reason, I had stumbled upon Best Stream, and he was actually going D-Web versus Terran. Now, I know that's kind of
Oh,
a bit of a troll build, but I like to see players, innovate and at least attempt to try and do new things instead of just seeing the same stuff over and over again.
well, maybe he'll use that D web today. Maybe he'll put the fleet beacon down after the Stargate if he plays PVZ against Action and start D webbing the lurkers on the ground and
Yeah.
sunken colonies and really just bust through.
I mean, D-Web is one of those spells that's definitely underused. It's super strong. If you're gonna have 7, 8, 9, 10 Corsairs anyways, and they're just gonna be sitting there with max energy the entire game. I realize Fleet Beacon and D-Web is like, what is it, 500, 400? I mean, that's a really expensive upgrade, but if you can use them, it's really effective. I mean, in theory, you could put D-Web over top of, you could put so many D-Webs over a Dark Swarm and just completely nullify it.
You could absolutely do that. That would be pretty wild. I mean, we've always kind of theory crafted like, well, if you're going with mass air, if you're going to play with like whatever 7/8 air, is it worth getting the fleet beacon and getting +2? If you're playing against in PvZ and just be able to pop Scourge and Overlords really quickly, and then you get the D web if you get to the third gas, it could be something valuable, but we just haven't seen someone put it into the meta yet. If a player who's in the pro scene doesn't do it, we know it's illegal. It's off the table.
Can't do it. It's not allowed. I really do think that D-Web and +2 weapon. things of that nature are definitely very, very useful in Protoss versus Zerg. I mean, okay, you're the Protoss player here. How many times have you actually ran into a Zerg that gets actual +2 armor? Like, I don't think I've seen it.
No, probably never. Unless it's like super late game and your every unit's being made, but almost never would you see in a standard game where they get +2 armor.
Yeah, so would like to see Best or someone in the future go for that. But we're getting a look at our remaining groups. We already know about Group D today. Group E, that's going to be a stellar group. Light, YSC, Shine, and Jaedong. And then Group F. Group F, I actually think, is the most interesting for me just because I'm a Terran guy. JYJ and Mind facing off versus Free and Stork. Also read on Team Liquid that people are saying that Stork's in top shape right now, and Stork has always been a Protoss versus Terran specialist, so maybe he can take down JYJ and Mind. But, you know, in the few seasons that we've seen Mind play and JYJ, they are just so deadly TVPs. Mind especially, like when he made his return, what, like 3 seasons ago, I don't think he lost a single TVP. So that's going to be a tough group. As I mentioned, there have been no Zergs making it into the round of 16 other than the seeded ones. As you saw, only Sulky and Hero are there. Looking at these stats, we've got Best versus Speed is 1-0 overall. That was season 11. Season 17, we had Best and Action face off in the round of 24, where Best won, like I mentioned. And then at the bottom left, we have Action versus Speed. Action won 1-0 there. And then overall, between C and Best, it's 3-2, but that was back in season 2, so it's been a while there. And then looking at these stats, it says 53% win rate versus Terran for Best, 58% win rate versus Zerg. I feel like I've realized that in the past few seasons that Best is actually a Protoss versus Zerg specialist on top of being a PvT specialist. Not sure exactly what the stat says for Action, and I think the past 2 seasons for C has been round of 24. The last time he made the round of 16 is season 6. So, wow, 12 seasons for him since being in the round of 16. And then season 11, Speed, Best, Action, and JYJ were in the same group. I don't think this has been I don't think this really has any other stat than that. I'm not sure exactly what that graphic is supposed to mean there, but yeah.
Well, maybe we'll have some things come back. See, maybe he'll make it out. Maybe we'll see the Best versus C. 8-year delay
Yeah.
we've been waiting for.
Yeah.
You never know. Could be a wild day here in SSL.
Yeah, should I go wake my mom up right now? Like, Mom, it's finally happening. We're gonna have Best versus C. It's only been 8 years.
We've been talking about it for forever. This is it. This is the moment.
We're looking at Best stats here. He's an 8-time qualifier in the ASL, so he's literally qualified every single season. That is quite impressive. He's made it into the round of 4 twice, but no semifinals and no finals appearances. And I think his opponent is Speed, right? I think that's his first round opponent.
Yes.
Okay, so
Not an
Speed.
easy one. Not an easy one.
Yeah, Speed for me is kind of hit or miss. Like I can see him doing really, really good builds, and then sometimes his craziness gets the best of him. He'll play some wild builds like 6 racks in Terran versus Terran. He'll do like 10-10-10 versus Zerg. In fact, I think we're probably going to see a 10-10-10 on a map like Minstrel, or is it Kickback? If he can get a game versus Action on there, I think Kickbacks especially, which is a map where you can double expand immediately. Wraith can be one of the best ways to keep Zerg in check. So got my eye on Speed, but tough opponent here to start us off.
Got to deal with Best himself first, and then he can go from there. And Dominator, interesting map. We've seen a lot of really fast pushes from Terran on this map versus Protoss, it seems like. So we'll see if that's what Speed opts for as well.
We will, and our players are ready. So let's get into game 1 of Group D. Okay, so in the top left, we do have Best. And in the mid right, we do have Speed. And no double probe sent out from Best. He learned from the game of motive that, hey, these Terrans, they're not optimally mining their patches. No reason to try and, gateway in their main, because you're not going to find them with your first scout.
Not gonna happen here. Can't see the mine there, but we have seen some interesting build choices here on this map. I mean, obviously the motive is one thing, but for even Mini going with a double gate, so we're interested to see what maybe Best might do.
And in particular was the most unusual. Of course, when you see the double probe go out, it's an unusual build, but you at least know what's coming. But Mini's build, where he went double gate observer, I'm sitting there like, wait, what? I mean, it must be like a metagame mix-up, because a lot of Terran players in particular are going a lot of Vulture type play. They don't build tanks for a long time, so it could have just been like a mega hard counter. But Stan had the perfect read. I still don't know how he knew that it was not DTs, because it really did look like DTs. But we've got Gateway, then a Scout, gas coming in for Best. Everything looks pretty normal. Now Speed, he will go gasless a lot, but this time around, I think this was an 11 gas for him.
Yeah, it's interesting to see if he's going to go gasless on these maps, because with the reverse ramp, I feel like Preuss is usually opting more for some pressure, which could mean an early zealot. So do you want to play gasless into something that's happening more frequently because of the map? So I'm glad that he did it. Not that Best is building a zealot yet, but could have been a blunder there.
Gets in, just going to be annoying. Sees that it's a gas opener, not going to really see much else.
Getting that probe all over the place. I always know you're playing someone really good when the probe is out of control, just moving around your base.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because when I, first got it, we'll just say decent at StarCraft, I would think that I would recognize good players by how well they macro, how well they, micro their goons and stuff. But, you actually know when you're facing a good player simply by how they use their workers. A lot of players can macro these days, so it's kind of hard to tell the difference between who's a good macro and who's not, because everybody can, but nobody can micro their workers like the pros. I mean, basically, if there's a ranged worker like a drone or a probe, and you're even in their base just a couple seconds too long, it's dead. Like, it's just not gonna get away. Looks like Best has had some mercy on this SCD so far. He hasn't been able to find it, but now that it's getting in, I'm sure he'll be able to snipe it. Oh, well, there's a goon already out, so of course he'll be able to snipe it at some point.
Yeah, we have rangeless here from Best, so we'll see if Speed triggers to do anything. I know you can sometimes continue marine production, add a Vulture. We do have a third depot down there right away, where you could actually pull the boys, get that SCV line going, and you can try to bust this. We'll see if he decides to get crazy, or just take an expansion himself, because the Nexus is very early.
Yeah, this was rangeless, so he could try and bust it, but he puts down the command center. This is actually more Mihu-esque. In BSL, Mihu almost always went for the safe build, the additional depot, the additional marine. I guess when you're as good as he is, you can get away with stuff like that. But look at this. Best actually made a mistake. This is not something you see that often, where a pro leaves no goon on the ramp. He's going to get... Oh, we almost got 3 probes, and that would have been massive. Still getting 2 is great, and also the SCV still alive, getting full intel. So he sees that there's no robo, and Razz, I mean, you play Protoss, 430 no robo. I mean, this is really, really bad.
This is, I don't know if he's just missing his build here a little bit or what's going on, but yeah, he already should have had that robo down. It should almost be completing. You want that observer to make sure you get in the base so you know what you're up against. Is this going to be 5-6 vac plus 1 all in? Like, what are you going to be seeing? So right now he's going to be very in the dark, and for all he knows, Speed could be laying down mines already. Could be putting mines all over the place.
Got Protoss on the move here. Just 2 goons. Yeah, I
Oh.
was thinking this. I was like, man, Robo at 4:30, that doesn't sound very ideal. The Reaver's going to be really late. Observer is going to be really late. You know, Heron by that time probably could even have an academy and an armory. So I was really hoping he would go Citadel. Okay, is this going to be a DT drop? But isn't this a little... I was going to say, isn't this timing off? But I don't think so. I think it's going to line up perfectly.
Yeah, it'll be okay with the Robo and the archives, but a little bit late here with delaying it for being hidden. But I don't know. We do see a lot of Terra, man. They skip an eBay, or they don't put a turret in their main, or only just one. You get a couple of DTs, you could jump right on it. So could get tricky, especially the path to speed space is pretty quick from Best, so he'll be able to fly right directly into that main.
Not sure if I like this or not. The eBay's coming down, and because he saw that the Robo's so late, like the chance of him going for like a 7-minute Reaver drop is just so heavily unlikely that I don't think it's going to be a turret ring where, you know, the shuttle can just suicide and drop the DTs off and the DTs run in. I really do think that it's going to be a turret like right up against the refinery, probably right up against the factories. So I can't really imagine this doing much damage unless Terran is out on the map as the drop comes in. But there's already some mines in position. Yeah, there's the turrets. They go up pretty much exactly as I was expecting them to do. And this is just a really bad situation for Best. I wonder how he's going to transition out of this.
Yeah, I will say recently in PvT, not that we're really seeing it here right now, or at least just yet, that we have seen a little bit of a meta change where Proteus is getting Arbiters much faster. They put down their Citadel before they take their 3rd base. We'll see if Best opts for like a 2-base Arbiter play after this, which I'm assuming he's most likely going to go into here, or if he's going to actually just take a 3rd and try to play out. There's the Stargate. So yeah, I think we'll just see 2-base Arbiter to start. Let's see how he gets done here, Nyoken.
Keys are going to unload. There's no... Okay, he actually found, like, legitimately the only spot where there were no mines. And he doesn't have an academy. So no scans anytime soon. Okay, 1 mine connects. That's great, but he is going to lose... We'll just say double depot. I don't know if he'll be able to get the 3rd depot by the time this turret completes.
I thought he was going to fire on the SCV there. I thought he was going to send it over and then use the siege tank to hit it.
This is annoying. Is that turret really not in range?
Goodness,
Wow.
are you kidding me?
Well,
Who's operating that turret? Is that guy in there doing his job? What is he doing?
He's just watching, man. He's just spinning in a circle, just watching these DPs kill everything.
He's so dizzy he forgot to give detection. It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable. He's fired.
That's it. Get him out of there. Oh my
No way!
Are you kidding me?
Please, is there a comp set? He needs to get some Goliaths out so that when he scans, he can actually kill the shuttle, but we've got a Vulture run by. I was waiting to see if Speed could do anything as a counterplay. He finds the opening, gets in, he gets maybe like 5 or 6 so far, something like that. 7?
That's some pretty good damage there, but no way. Okay.
No way.
I was about to say.
He was actually not detected there, but I guess he's not willing to risk losing the shuttle and the DT.
I thought maybe we had a glitch here. His turrets weren't working at all. But none of them could detect anything. They, I was like, that's so close. Come on now. But 4 factories going up here for Speed.
Yeah. Did Protoss put an observer over that turret and put it on stop? The turret just stopped spinning.
That's it.
I don't think I've seen a DT drop do as much damage as this is doing, except for when it kills SCV lines. Like, this is so annoying. I was expecting this to just be a complete fail. And now he's killed the add-on. He's killed two depots. He was annoying at the armory. He's forced out so many turrets. Like, this command center is making... This is probably going to get killed also.
They're definitely probably going to lose a tank here. Oh, nope. Just gets it in time, but... He's also used a lot of scans, and we do know the Arbiter is on the way, so that will affect Speed later into the game here, because if he doesn't have scans and he decides to move out here with this 4-fac and be a little bit aggressive, it's just not going to happen. I think he's going to end up having to sit here and just try to take this 3rd base.
A lot of players versus Arbiter want to get fast 3rd base because one of the ways you beat Arbiter is you just have big econ. And 3rd base going up, basically when Protoss is 3rd base, is completing, so it's going to be relatively good econ. Those vultures getting in and killing some probes have been game-changing. If he didn't get those in there to kill some workers, I think Best would be running away with this game. But we've got Best putting down a 4th base also. This is what you can do with 2-base Arbiter. You don't have that much stuff in the beginning. You get your tech up really quickly, and then you explode into 4 bases. Now this, to me, looks like it's going to be a recall Arbiter, simply because he knows there's no turret ring. But it still could also be for stasis. The way the supplies are shooting up, this could definitely be for a stasis bust.
I was thinking that we saw this Dell Star being made. Is it going to be something like the stasis bus, or would it be a quick recall? But I think you're right. I think we might see him just try to run through speed here, knowing that he's taking this quick third. He's only on 4 factories. His gateway count is high. Can he just go through, get that stasis, and take him out of the game?
Dropship out for speed. This can be a very impactful unit if it goes unspotted. Nexus again, a 5th Nexus going up for Best. You know, I was just about to say I'm a bit worried for speed that his factory count is so low compared to the gateway count. But if this guy's just going to build more and more Nexuses and not actual units, if speed can get off a good drop here, maybe that'll buy him some time to ramp up his production before the incoming recall or stasis happens. I'm actually surprised that he goes towards the natural instead of mid-left. But I guess there's no cannon there. A vulture drop would be perfect.
Oop. He's found it. Let's see how much he gets done here.
One, oh, I needed to unload at least 2 so he could one-shot the probes. I don't know how much damage this is actually going to do.
The probes are
one there.
Take out the vultures.
Okay, this is an interesting. Well, even though he doesn't get a lot of kills, oh, that's why. It's because he has a tank sitting over here. Okay, get 2 kills there. Didn't really get that many probe kills, but he forced a lot of lost mining. I mean, every base had the entire probe line pulled off, so that is really, really good damage.
Yeah, he's definitely slowing down Best here with that drop. Surprised that he brought the tank, but he had a thought in his mind, hey, I can get the nat, the main, and I can siege the 3rd base. Maybe he'll move his probes and I'll be able to get a couple good shots off, splash over everything. So well done there from speed.
Was looking to see if Best managed his probes after that drop. You know, you get disrupted in 3 bases. It's very easy to mismanage one of the bases, but it looks like he's got about
oh no.
Okay, well, that probe line's not managed very well anymore. Immediately queues up a bunch of probes.
Ouch, that one hurt my heart right there. That can hurt me, cut me deep seeing that Zell go into that probe. Oh man, here we go. It's the recall though. Time to revenge those probes.
I don't think there's enough stuff over here. Oh, he only has 2 turrets. This is going to do so much damage. Oh, this is going to do so much. And he's going to avoid all the mines.
Wow, he's in a good spot. And this is going to be difficult here for speed, as he's got to move all of his units back to all the way to the back of his main base.
These buildings are not exactly set up the greatest. Like, it's going to be hard to get all this stuff up there to try and defend this. 2 tanks move in. That can't possibly have another recall, right? Okay, it's just for the cloak. That Arbiter's
wild.
1 shot away from dying, but gets out of vision and won't be taken down.
But this is just really annoying, right? Like, Speed's got to have to rebuild depots and already a smaller main, trying to get some recovery in, get all of his units back here to take care of this. And Best is just powering up. You see the macro here. He's already up 30 supply. He's just pumping units. I'm surprised we haven't seen him maybe try to attempt to bust at the same time at a different base.
Such a highly contested spot in that base. Top right, it's completely vulnerable to recall, obviously, and you know, there's no turret set up. There's another Arbiter already out. I'm sure it probably has a lot of energy. I'm actually surprised that he ended up moving down to bottom left instead of trying to go for a back-to-back recall. But Speed has cleaned it up finally, and he's getting a lot of value out of these vultures. So despite taking a lot of damage to the first recall, he's still almost, well, he's pretty close to even in supply. But look at this, we've got another recall coming, this time to bottom middle. Now this I like set up way better.
This could really be crazy. If he, I thought he might just try to fly in and recall into the mineral line, but his entire army would be wiped as soon as it was recalled on all those mines.
Yeah, and Best actually has to be careful. If he goes for another recall in the main, all those units that were sieged up, they're still sitting there. But I guess he realizes that there's a lot of defense set up, and now he's just going for a bust as he gets a cancel on this third base or fourth base. We see actually there are vultures at bottom left denying that base, but Speed is at his fourth base tonight. Okay, now I don't know about this. This is a really closed corridor. There's no energy for stasis or recall just yet.
The army is split, man. The army's split. We can see that half his army is still coming across the map. I'm not sure about this from Invest. I know he was max, but we're pushing into a really tough spot here.
That was one of those A move moments that backfired as half of his army was out of position, like you said. And that was a clutch hold as he also kills bottom left. He's not going to be able to deny this fifth base, but getting that sixth base gone alleviates a lot of pressure. And that mine shot onto the probe line is still paying dividends as he only has, what, 6 probes up there?
Yeah, he is not mining effectively from that base. And here we see only 1 cannon, so Speed going to continue to do economic damage by just taking as many probes as he can, forcing all the probes off once again. So Speed just creeping into this game more and more, and he's having some good holds and just doing a lot of eco damage there to Best.
He moved out. He moved his units out of position. Recall? No, not yet. Just yet. He's got the 250 energy, but doesn't want to recall. At least not just yet. Arbor gets spotted in the center of the map, and the way Best is moving is it looks like he wants to go for another bust, but the way the first attack went, I would not want to go for another one.
I'm surprised we're moving in this this direction over here. Like, oh man, it went so poorly. Why would you put your units back into the meat grinder? But he's thinking about it.
And there's a lot of small pathways here, and one of the things that I pointed out in a lot of Best games that we've seen is he doesn't have the greatest usage of observers. So far, he's taken a lot of damage, losing a lot of zealots to these mines, but I can see him losing even more. Another raid onto the probes, getting so much value.
Yeah, I think one of the things that you experience, right, as Protoss is that you get maxed, and it doesn't get any better. Right, it's not like you're scaling your army when it's a ground units of just Dragoon Zealots. So you feel like you have to get something done. And I think that's what's going on right now with Best. He is like, what am I going to do my army? If I sit here and this guy gets 200 max, it's going to be much more difficult. Let's trade off what we can. But he can't just go in and trade like he did last time. We can't just continue to run entire armies and try to get 4 tanks and 10 vultures for, 2 control groups. We have to trade more effectively than that. We're not that far ahead.
From Speed is really fantastic. Like, he had a random drop at bottom left with tanks that I don't even know how it got over there. And he's also taking his 5th base down at bottom middle. Uh-oh. He needs to siege up right now. He doesn't see it coming. He's
oh no. The stasis is about to be crazy. The stasis is about to be crazy.
We got so many tanks there.
There, man. Wow.
He's gonna kill the command center also. Man, that is just so many zealots, man. That mine did not connect. I was waiting to see a lot of zealots blow up. Oh, we've got a vulture attack at mid left, dude. He's everywhere. So he's going blow for blow. And what I thought was gonna be a catastrophic loss for Speed, he manages to save a lot of his tanks. He also saved the command center.
Yeah, and you see he's finally taking a supply lead here for the first time. So Speed playing this really, really well, defending and getting some counters done. Oh my goodness, we might deny this base again.
Yeah, and there's no observer with this army, so he's doing so much stuff. I think he may be able to cancel bottom middle or kill it, but still, he's at least going to lose units for this. Okay, well, now, maybe it's a little bit too thin for Speed as he's going to lose these tanks, but we actually have a supply lead for Speed, and I do want to point out, Speed rushed his upgrade, so he's going to be at 3-2 if he's not at 3-2 in just a moment. Also, I want to say this about the unit comp of Best. Like, yes, he's got Arbiters, but what is he missing, Razz? There's no Templars at all. He has, what, 5 or 4 gases? He should be able to afford Templars, but I haven't seen a single one.
Yeah, I'm surprised at this point in the game we don't see. Oh my goodness, we're just going to run into more mines here.
Oh man,
okay.
These mines. This is why Protoss players talk about how Vulture is the best unit in the game. It's not the tank. It's because these mines, they're just set up all over the place. You get free damage, and it's paying big time dividends. Finally, we see some Templars, but he lands an EMP, hits 2 Arbiters. Speed's maxed out, man. He could go for a killing blow. And look at this. Vultures are just randomly sitting here, intercepting a probe transfer.
My goodness. Speed is playing so... Oh, my goodness. And we see
There's
vultures
something.
come the other way, man. He's gonna get the rest of those probes. He's gonna get these goons. Speed is playing out of his mind right now.
Dude,
Just
this is the type of multitask that you dream of when you play Terran. Like, I just want to shut down every base, kill all their zealots, kill all their goons, kill all their probes. You know what this vulture attack I think is going to do? Is it's going to draw all the units out of position and trigger a frontal assault from Speed. But maybe I'm wrong here, as I don't see his camera moving on his rally point. But that's what I was expecting. But look at this, a recall coming in for round 2. He's got to do something like this. He needs to nullify the damage that Speed is doing everywhere.
I was about to say, if you look at best bank, man, it's been so low. It is not like triggering up like you would think it would be, sitting on 5-6 bases. He is really struggling with eco from all of these vulture raids. We finally see the first storm of the game coming in here, but I don't know if it's enough. Hopefully this will buy some. No, this is triggered Speed, man.
Oh,
He's
man.
going.
Well, this is going to be a base trade scenario. This is everything that Speed has. Millions of tanks, millions of Goliaths. There's a decent amount of defense. Oh, he lands the EMP again. This may not be stoppable. Speed has 3-2. Protoss has his entire army out on the map. Now, I realize that Terran's also in trouble here, but I think Terran with D-Matrix and the tanks that he has set up here with reinforcements, well, take that back. Speed is supply blocked. He can't build any more stuff.
Yeah, I just don't know if Best has enough in this base to bust everything. There are a bunch of tanks on the other side by that mineral only.
Well, oh, I think Speed's gonna hold. And you know what I was just realizing? Because Speed has dealt so much damage, you know what Best doesn't have? Is he doesn't have a backup base with gateway. So if the main gets wiped out, that's it. Like, there's no more production for him. That's still a lot of stuff at the third base. I think Speed can actually just end this game with his full frontal assault.
Oh my goodness, is he gonna run all these? Okay, he pulled one back, set one through. Here we go. Best, I think, in a little bit of desperation, man, realizing, hey, I need to get something done. Oh my goodness, I think we just got one Arbiter there, not both. But like you said, Nyoken, how does Best deal with that massive blob of blue on the mini-map that's in his main base?
Well, that was one way right there with the Arbiter, but not anymore as it dies, and that's probably just going to trigger, yeah, the full-on attack. D-Matrix comes in. I don't think that the Zealots are going to win this. D-Matrix is just too good, man. There are only tanks, though, so maybe the Zealots can win. There's no Vultures, only one Goliath. Is there enough Protoss? The answer is going to be no, but remember, this is obviously instant rally for Best, so maybe with additional reinforcements coming out of the 20 gateways or whatever he has, maybe he can hold. The tank count is getting thinner and thinner.
Wow, this is really close, man. Can he do it? We have Templar coming out. He needs to pull them back so he can storm. Oh my goodness, Templar getting picked. It's so close, Nyoken.
Yeah, there's a tanks over here. And he's also pushing bottom left at the same time. It really does look like he's going to do it. But, like I stated, the rally point is immediate, so if he can just get those Zealots on top of the tanks, he may be able to hold, but I think the damage is just too much at this point. These tanks may kill this Nexus, maybe not. Archon, Arbiter DPS isn't enough. It looks like it's not going to be, but the Vultures are here. He wants that Nexus, man. Needs one more shot, not gonna get it. Or 3 more shots, actually.
Oh, look at the supply now all of a sudden, Nyoken. Look at that, right? We see that Speed is taking a lead here. He's lifting his command center. Nice to be turned to float your building there to the next mineral batch, so you don't have to worry that you've lost a couple. I don't know, man. Oh, EMP on that one. Templar. Speed is looking in a great spot to take this game, and he's going to move across the map to wipe out bottom left and all the income that Best has.
Just about to say this, I don't know actually if Speed's going to win, because this is a lot of units that he's going to lose as everything gets stasis. He was kind of slow on the gun to send all of his stuff to top left. He's going to branch off some units to bottom left. Best is still mining, man. Like, he needs to really get rid of either the bases or the production, and he didn't get rid of either of them. Even though it's a 40, or actually now just a 20 supply lead, there's still no answer to the Arbiters.
Yeah, but we don't have an observer, so
Yeah,
we are
true.
literally gonna base check all of these. Oh my goodness!
Okay,
He only gets one.
That one can recall over here. He could recall his whole army. I think that's what he's going to do.
I think we're gonna see a recall. Oh my goodness, the defensive recall. Is this allowed? I thought this was also illegal.
Yeah, you don't ever see that. Oh, defensive recall into some spider mines. Well, that
Oh my
Nexus is
goodness,
gonna
he's gonna
die.
get the Nexus. Yep, he's gonna get this Nexus here.
Yeah, but he's gonna lose I thought he was gonna lose more than that. But supplies are pretty much dead even at this point. Speed is pretty broke because his natural's mined out. His third base is getting close to mined out. He's got mid-right mining right there, but it's only 6 patches. He has no Goliath right now, by the way. So, another mine connection. So these Arbiters are still just able to just run around and stasis and recall all the time.
Speed, he is putting some investment back in his main there to defend it, but I don't know if Best can go for another recall in the main. I think he's got to defend his bases down here, retake a Nexus, because he is totally out of just going to be out of money if he leaves that one base, man. It's not going to work out.
Looks like actually Speed has gotten
Oh my
a
God,
critical
double.
amount. Another EMP, man. Man, the EMPs have been on point this game. And I think at this point, the army's unstoppable. There's actually, surprisingly, there's just been no answer to the Vultures and no answer to the EMPs. Like, every Vulture has gotten in and done critical damage. And the EMPs, we've seen like 5 or 6 land. How many, does he even have stasis on that third Arbiter? Here we go. This could be the killing move.
Yeah, I think this may be it. Really good spread there.
Oh, no, recall.
Don't recall on that mine.
Recall. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Wow.
It's not enough. It's just Zealots. And that means Speed's going to win, man. I can't believe it.
Best about to fall. You see his face on the camera scratching his head. He's unsure, and there's the GG.
Oh my gosh, that was perfection, man. That's like I stated. That's the dream play for Terran. You want a micro like fantasy, you want a macro like Flash, and that's what we saw right there. The multitask was absolutely bonkers for Speed, and the guy on Team Liquid making the prediction about Speed being maybe the favorite for the group. Well, so far he's right, because I would say he took down, the previous historic favorite here, Best, and it was very close, of course, but that was really, really well done.
He played amazing, man. Those vulture raids all over those mineral lines, just forcing everything. That one insane mine connection that killed almost all the probes of the natural. I mean, that and then defending well and then pushing across the map, man. He was just decisive. He was everywhere.
Absolute perfection. I was questioning the single vulture drop at the natural in the main. I was like, what? Man, you're not even one-shotting probes. I can't understand this, but that mine connection was huge, and Speed, man, this was great play from him, and it's very important to win in best of 1 series, obviously, so he's already into the winner's match. That's going to be great for him. We're going to be going to a break, and then we'll be back with Action versus C. And we are back. We're about to be going into our second game of the day, which is going to be C versus Action. Speed just played out of his frickin' mind versus Best. So Best will surprisingly be in the losers match. That's pretty hard to come back from. I don't think we've actually seen somebody go into the losers match and actually make it out so far, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's a tough place to be, right? Like you're like right on the line there. You're not sure. Best has got to be scratching his head a bit, man. Definitely gives you a little bit of that mental slight, right?
Yeah, and with it being best of one, if you mess up one time, it's over. You're done for. This is not the round of 16 where at least you get to play a best of three. It's just you're one and done. So that makes it even rougher. But
Yeah,
we've
and
got,
any little can get you.
yeah, literally anything could get you. I mean, Action could four pull you. And if you go, uh, you know, a greedy opener, you're immediately dead or something along those lines. So got to be careful. Now we're going to be going into Action versus C. Like I was stating at the beginning of the cast, I really do like Action, especially versus Terran, and that's the main reason why. You can see 58% versus Terran. Absolutely crazy win rate. But for whatever reason, Action, I mean, he consistently makes it into the round of 16, so I don't really foresee an issue here getting into the round of 16, but Action is somebody that I'm hoping like he'll go round to four or finals potentially because he's got the skill, man. I mean, those win rates are incredibly high.
Yeah, especially like you said, ZVT. I feel like I've seen games where like, oh, this guy's dead, and it's all of a sudden out of nowhere, action macro and off four bases is able to actually take the game and turn the tides. So he is an incredible player. So I think it's going to be an uphill battle here for C.
C's win rate, his highest is actually versus Protoss, just barely over his Terran versus Zerg, which is also at 53% win rate. So C's obviously no slouch. There's a reason he consistently makes it into ASL, but I think this is going to be a tall order for him because Action is so good. Whenever I think of Action Zerg versus Terran, there's this one game of him playing versus Flash. It was on Reverse Fighting Spirit. It's like a blue tiled map. Uh and it was wild, man. Like I'm watching Flash macro like crazy, but at the same time he's losing bases because Action is equaling the macro. So if you're able to go toe to toe in a macro game versus Flash of all people, that tells you how good this Zerg is. I wonder if C will try and cheese him. He made a comment in one of Jinjin's translations. I think it was Sharp versus Hero, where Sharp went for an 8 racks, and C made it very clear that he doesn't like 8 racks because it's kind of middle of the road. He talked about how if you're going to do, some type of pressure build, you might as well just BBS and go for it. So I wonder if he'll try and do something along the lines of that here on Dominator as we are getting into the game now. And in the top left, we do have our Zergits Action, whereas in the bottom left, we do have C.
Well, Nyoken in the middle is buildable. Just saying, if you did want to go for that little
Oh, okay.
BBS, man.
I didn't know that because I have not tried to BBS anybody on this map just yet.
Well, we know how cheesy you are of a player, so now that
Yeah,
now that you know it could be in your arsenal. So be careful out there, people play on the ladder. If you get Nyoken, you know what
yeah,
could be coming on Dominator.
you better check that center. Well, I have been playing a few games on the new ladder maps. Have you played any on the new maps?
I've been playing a little bit on them. They are definitely interesting.
Here we go. I think it's a little
Oh.
too late for BBS, but this looks like it's gonna wall. But what do you think about the maps? Do you have a favorite so far?
I don't know if I have a favorite. I feel like Deja Vu has been a pretty good map. Rush distances are short. Playing maps like Pantheon that are just ginormous. Like I feel like some of the maps are very big and far rush distances, so it kind of lends itself to like a longer game because of how far it is. It's hard to do certain builds, especially when you play the ladder, you play a lot of PvP. Like even trying to go 3-gate in a large map like Kickback or Pantheon just doesn't work out as easy.
Yeah, I think coming into the season, I thought I was gonna really like Pantheon, but I think every single game I've played on there, I've just gotten completely owned. Whether I get contained and I can't get out, or I just get 4 pooled, or something along those lines. I agree. I think my favorite map so far is Deja Vu. I somehow forgot to veto Minstrel, and that got through a couple times. I played a couple games there. It's an interesting map, but it was a veto after 2 games for me. Like, I feel like the additional the minerals in the center of the map, where there's a couple patches with 48 minerals, where you can, sort of mine them out, makes it interesting in that aspect. And also, if it goes late game and, the bases are completely mined out, all of a sudden you have like 3 or 4 additional pathways. I think that makes it kind of interesting. But I haven't gotten into any epic games on Minstrel just yet.
No, I actually played against C yesterday on the ladder PvT, and he went 13 CC, and I went for a delayed scout with my goon, and he punished me very severely. Very, very severely.
Well,
it's amazing when you go command center first how many units you can have at such an early time.
Yeah, it's crazy. You can just have 1 million of them. You better get like a Reaver drop in there and get some SCV kills, otherwise you're gonna get blown out of the water just trying to play a macro game.
Oh, he must have seen the replay, because that's what happened.
Well, we've got what was a 2-minute pool, 2-minute gas, so everything looks very normal for Zerg. Meanwhile, on C side of the map, this is a little unusual. This gas timing is kind of fast. It's kind of fast, but it kind of isn't. This is not going to be an eBay +1, so this is going to be a delayed mech. Now, I've talked about the delayed mech in the past, and I originally thought delayed mech was kind of broken, but players got really good with the queens, with Hydras managing their eco. So I don't know what to think of this. It is at least a low econ build, and actually those links get the SCV, by the way. So Terran's in the dark, and Action does do a lot of mind games, so he could go for a Hydra, like lurker play, which is actually surprisingly good versus walls, especially since he sees that the Rax is not blinking. So lurkers would be amazing, because you know what Terrans don't do when they play mech? They don't get a comsat. They just go Goliath. They're like, oh, you know what? You're going mutas. I'm invulnerable. Don't need comsat. But guess what? Lurkers, when they burrow, you can't see them.
Oh, and it's unbelievable. They go into the ground, they're gone, man. They're gone.
They're just gone. But they let you know you're there. They let you know they're there. They send these spiky things, and then you get 2 shots.
Especially when you're fragile like Bio. It's an interesting third base here from Action.
Yeah, I think this is just a mind game, like I was saying, because there's really no reason to take this base, right? Like, it's kind of wide open. Well, I guess taking top middle is a little harder to defend, because you have to defend double ramp. But I feel like I would prefer defending double ramp instead of just a massively open position, but maybe I'm wrong. Either way, the first Vulture is out on the map. There's no sunken, by the way, but there is a couple of Zerglings with speed. I think he should be able to shut this down. Or not. He'll just let it run in. Really?
Sneaky boy. Wow.
Okay, well, he gets in. He's going to kill a Ling. He's going to also obviously know that it's not Hydras anymore, so that's good. The micro is not the greatest on the Vulture. It's taking so much damage. It's actually going to get taken down just barely.
Goodness.
And Action didn't even panic build a Sunken either. So that was a perfect hold.
I can't believe he just killed that so quickly with just 4 Zerglings. I for sure thought C was going to get way more damage, at least a drone, or at least force some off of the mining, but not at all.
Look at what Action's doing. He's already putting down another macro hatch. So he's exploding from 2 hatch, low econ Ling Muta into 4 hatch. This is why mech is hard to play, because it's not like Terran can punish this. Like, oh, you're droning hard. Well, I'm going to attack with 2 Goliaths. That's not going to happen. And also, Terran has to be very careful, because he could get overwhelmed and by, underbuilding Goliaths here and being out of position. And also, like I said, there's no scan here. So, Zerg doesn't have to go mutas. He could just hide your switch or rush Hive, and you're never going to know.
Yeah, this is seems like a tough situation, right? Like, you're just kind of playing in the dark a little bit. You're kind of trying to figure out, trying to macro up, but these Muta, man, just flying in, doing some eco damage as well.
He doesn't have range, so he just loses like 6 SCVs immediately.
I was to say the tricky part too is like the Goliaths just until they get a decent number, I feel like they just trade kind of poorly versus the Muta. Like the Mutas come in and start picking them off and really hurt your push timing, right? You just don't have the units, but he's just doing eco damage here.
Well, that's another thing with Goliath is they deal half damage to Mutalisk. They don't even do full damage. If they did full damage, Mutas would get melted, but they don't even do full damage. So no range, half damage. It's not easy to, deal really any damage to these Mutalisks. I do want to point out those turrets by the command center because I have played a couple games on Dominator. SCVs cannot go, I don't think they can go between the turret and the depot down to bottom right. So if he like right clicks over there with an SCV to go build a depot and it gets stuck, he's just going to be supply blocked forever. So actually I'm going to be watching that supply often to see if that actually happens. Now C has gone into a second armory. I mean, that must be the starport at the bottom side of his base, right? But I don't remember seeing him actually build it.
It was the starport, yes. So he is going for this upgrade style here, but I don't know, man. How long is too long here to sit in your base before Zerg just absolutely explodes? I mean, he's making a lot of Muta now, but we saw a pretty good amount of drone rounds.
Well, if C keeps doing this, then actually, or if Action keeps doing this, then C's actually going to be in a good position because +2, +1 with just non-stop Goliaths and then Vultures for harassment. I mean, Mutas, I have lost myself to mass Mutas, but I don't think pros are going to lose to mass Mutas. But what I will say about this map in particular, there's no close by third gas. So how is C gonna get the gas to support all this? Now that is a ton of Mutas, and he already has +1 armor. There's only 6 Goliaths. He needs to send everything over here.
This is the moment here. Action diving in here, just going, it seems like, for the Goliaths, trying to lower that count. He does get a couple, but also surrenders some Muta, but he's stopped mining at the space. Action only on 2 gas as well right now, man.
Yeah, I really thought that Action was gonna go switch into Hydras, and now Vultures run into the main, and this is a disaster. He also sees that there's no Hydra in. He knows that this guy's just going Muta, so if he just literally sits here with Goliath and Irradiate, he's gonna be in a fantastic. He's got what, 5 probes now? 5 drones? I mean 6.
Oh my goodness, so much damage here from C, and C back in the supply lead. I mean, just not really a great spot from Action here, who's now trying to drone. He's not mining that third gas there, Nyoken. I'm not sure if that's on purpose, if he's just trying to bump up his minerals a little bit, but C's going to have a really strong 2-1 timing here.
That armory, I thought it looked like it wasn't spinning, but we didn't get to see. We didn't get a really good look at it. Hopefully his upgrades are coming, and hopefully for Action, he gets back onto that gas, gets some more hatches. I'm hoping that building that went down at the bottom of his base is a Hydrogen. Please don't be a Queen's Nest.
Yeah.
Well, something that I just realized is that if it actually is a Hydrogen, I mean, Hydras are good, but they're not good when Terran's going to be massively up in upgrades. Okay, thankfully that's an evolution chamber, so he's going to start catching up in upgrades, but to be down probably +1 armor in just a moment already, it's not looking great.
No, right now C is getting all his factories down. I think I saw the starport blinking, so I'm assuming the science vessel's on its way. Once he gets in a Irradiate, he should be able to move onto the map and take a little bit more map control and push out into his third.
Okay, C, I realize you had a good trade and he did some good damage, but I don't know if he can actually move out with this army. He's waiting for a juicy Irradiate. Oh, he almost had it. You can see the vessel tried to get it. Well, this could get interesting. If he actually just counters, well, I mean, if C just counters, I don't think that this is going to be a great counter for Action. Yeah, there's no way. The guy also already has a Irradiate, man. So, actually, C is going to take mid-left. I thought he was going to take his mineral only, but it makes more sense, obviously, to take the high ground here and get the gas also.
Yeah, it's right now he's pushing up to him, and I mean, he has a lot of units right now, and I just don't know if Action's army is going to be able to handle this push.
I don't know. Okay, well, we've got some Hydras here, but there's only 1 tank. Okay, 1-1 upgrades for Zerg. It comes down to the Irradiates. If the Irradiates get good connections, I think Terran's gonna win. If he doesn't, okay, or if he just gets off on D matrix like that, that was great. Now look at the mutas. They're gonna try and cut off reinforcements, or actually, is he just gonna attack mid left? Okay, he's just gonna try and make it weird. All right, this is gonna get weird. There's no turrets over here. I actually think that actually he's gonna win. There doesn't seem like there's that many Goliaths.
There does not, and we already used the energy from the vessel.
Yeah,
But
well,
we need
I
to
mean,
turn around at some point here. We can't just lose everything.
okay, well, we're having a best moment here. Mines connect onto the Hydras. Goodbye, 2 Hydras. Now, he did lose mid left. Zerg is going to lose top middle. Terran is up 30 supply. Okay.
This is the moment. This is the moment I feel like. Oh, we have an
he has
irradiate
enough.
again. Wow.
Okay. Wow, yeah, this is gonna get dangerous. I don't know, that's a lot of mutas, but the irradiate is so strong. I remember 2-1's done. Irradiate, there was like a triple clump muta. Oh my gosh, okay, a good split. Pretty good split. Is there enough Goliaths? The answer is going to be, I think there actually is. That is not that many mutalists. Remember, they're heavily damaged at the top side, and he's just rallying Goliaths across the map.
Unbelievable here from oh my goodness.
I was not expecting the GG. He didn't even wait to see what was coming. Like, I think that he could have killed those remaining 5 Goliaths. I still think he would have lost, but like he tapped out before even seeing the result of the battle. And we've got who I thought were the 2 favorites of the group down into the losers match already. It's kind of like the Reign and Queen group where both of them were down in the bottom side of the bracket.
And now we don't get to see best for C yet. I mean, this is just unbelievable. I thought we might have that moment, 8-year waiting here. We still have to continue to wait. Now I'm on the edge of my seat, hoping that we might even get that.
We need him to get out in first place, so that one guy that's rooting for the best C rematch has to wait another season.
Maybe next year, buddy.
Yeah,
maybe next year. Oh my God, that game does counter right with all the muta. Then he uses the Hydra to fight at the Nat. I mean, if you're going to sacrifice the Nat anyway, why not pull the Hydras into the main and bring the muta back and fight together? I mean,
What
great.
I think. Okay, go ahead.
I would say, I mean, great attack here from seeing just deciding to pull the trigger, but especially when he went onto the sunken, that might have been the moment to just collapse your army from both sides and try to trap this army itself.
After this tank got saved, what I think the plan here was if you look at mid right, there's 3 hatcheries over there. So even if Action loses his natural, like yes, he's not going to be mining there, but you know he's Zerg. He can go back into his main, and yes, he won't be efficiently mining anymore, but he'll still be mining quite a lot. I think the idea was kill off mid left. You know, you have a lot of mutas, and if you can get some Hydras across the map also, then all of a sudden you can make sure that reinforcements never ever get across the map. And so you sack your natural, you cut off reinforcements, and then you try and come with the mutas from the top side, from the main angle, and then you come with Hydras from the back side. So if Terran ever steps down, you get the 360 surround. But those mines getting the connections from the Hydras, kind of thwarted that idea. And that means that we got C moving into the winners match, and it's going to be a TVT. Speed's very good TVT. C is also good TVT. He can go for split map. We saw that last season, didn't work out for him. So I've got high hopes for this, but I thought we were going into a break, but I forgot we've got the Live Mobile ad.
Well, we do know one thing for sure today. We will see a Terran get out of this group. And
Another
maybe
one.
not the Terran that we expected, but you're right, another one.
And another one.
Oh my goodness, Terran, good race, man. Good race.
It's pretty good. Actually coming into ASL, I was thinking that Terrans were going to have one of their worst showings because this is just my opinion, having watched no Pro League, but just my experience playing the ladder and, seeing the flash games that Artosis posts on his YouTube channel. Like this mass shuttle type of play where Protoss just has so many bases, they just suicide shuttles over and over and over and over and over and over until Terran runs out of money. I really did think that we were going to see a lot of Protoss players make it in and few Terrans make it in, but I guess Terrans have not necessarily solved that style, but have gotten decent against it, or also just ending the game with all their timings. I think we've actually had the most Terrans in a while. If I remember correctly, 12 Terrans are in ASL, so legitimately 50% of the players.
Yeah, now they're just all getting out, man. All getting out of the group too.
Well, that
Unbelievable.
sets us up for what everybody loves, which is TVT in the round of 16. What's better than watching a best of one TVT? A best of three TVT.
This is what I came for. The Terran versus Terran, man. This is what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
Tank lines, nobody moving for a while. That's why we're here.
Or games where they are actually moving, it just ends up being no tank, just mass vulture. Those are also fun, right?
Vulture, man. Love it. We'll see that 3-4 fact vulture. Whoever makes more or gets the first shot is the winner.
Yeah. It's kind of like watching Zerg versus Zerg in that sense. Somebody gets the first muta shot or somebody miss micros one ling. Oh, well, tough luck. Better luck next time.
You practice and train for this, but this is what we got. This is where we're at. Coming down to one engagement. Oh,
Well, what do you think
excited.
about Speed's and C's chances here? I think that, well, I think Speed is really dangerous in TVT. I don't know about C's Terran versus Terran. If I remember from the graphic, it's at 40%. Um, I'm curious what maps will be banned because, if I had the multitask of Speed, I would leave maps up like Minstrel in the pool. I would leave up Monty Hall because I feel like I would just be able to pick you apart with, my 500 APM and multitask.
Yeah, Bonnie Hall would be interesting. Have we seen
No.
really a match yet? I feel like it's been banned every single time. So maybe these two guys thinking they're gonna get creative to get out of this group. We'll let that slide through.
Yeah, I think because I haven't seen a Monty Hall ban in the winners and losers match, it must not be in that particular map pool, but it always gets vetoed in the deciders match. I think Minstrel could be a good choice, but at the same time, it's a two-player map. So, my opinion, knowing that C likes to play a lot of big econ type of play, I don't think Minstrel's going to get through because I think it's highly likely that C will want to, try and go gasless. So I'm expecting to see something like Kickback or potentially Pantheon. You talked about it earlier. Pantheon, a really, really big map, huge travel distances also.
I think everything's going to be on the table. It must be very interesting for these guys when they start banning maps, not only thinking about their play style, but thinking about the opponents. I'm sure these guys have already thought at every single scenario and what maps they'd ban, but I'm sure they put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of thought process in my BSL bans. It's like, oh, it's a BSL ban, BSL map. Let's get rid of it. I have no practice on there. It's almost like a wasted ban though, because I feel like a lot of players don't practice that either. But I just have to make sure that it's not there since I've played 0 games.
You don't like Sparkle?
Oh hell no. That was a ladder map. I'll never not veto that.
Uh, I've been playing a little bit because we currently have a little bit Nation Wars going on, and Sparkle and Monty Hall are both in the map pool, so I've played a couple
Yeah.
games on them myself right now.
Surprisingly Sparkle's like really good for Terran. Terran has a high win rate there, but just being an old school player, having played on island maps, in the olden days, it's just hard for me to get over the fact that back then Terran players just never won there. So I don't even bother trying to play it.
You're like the history. There's just too much. I can't overcome the
Yeah.
mental block. Can't do it.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Come on, man. Think way back, like Gorky Park. Like those, had to be Terran
Oh
favorite
my
at some
gosh.
point. Doing the Goliath drop on the natural behind your main. That's a high ground.
Yeah.
I remember those days. Torturous.
Those WCG maps, they were something else. But I mean, even very old school Star League maps like Bifrost, when you just mentioned the high ground over your what was it, natural or over your main, Bifrost,
Man,
there was
yep.
high ground over your main. that could be gotten to if the opposing player just went around the perimeter of the map. And I remember having my main cannon rushed, gateways put up behind my main base. And it's like, how'd these zealots get in? I walled off. And it's like, oh, came down the back ramp in my base.
Yeah, Bifrost has such a large choke too. It's
Yeah.
like unbelievable both ways.
Yeah. And
Imagine
that,
trying to play PvZ now in today's meta.
oh yeah, that would be nightmarish. At least with the back base, you could have an additional base. But you know what? I don't remember there being gas on the back base of Bifrost. I think it was a mineral only.
I think you're right. I think it was a mineral only. My goodness.
Yeah. So taking that base doesn't even help Protoss. You can build a lot of zealots, but from what I remember, Hydras don't care if you have a lot of zealots.
They don't
Well,
care.
yeah. Well, we're going into a break and then we'll be back in just a moment. All right, we are back, and we've got a TVT in our or in our winners match. And look at this, Minstrel actually gets banned or gets through. There was a kickback ban from Speed here, and then also a kickback ban from C. So surprisingly, this gets in. I thought for sure that somebody was going to ban Minstrel, but two-player map, Speed is really deadly on two-player maps. I know from experience he really does rush a lot. And I wonder how he'll try and punish C, because I think C still could try and gasless here.
Really, even with the 2-player map, that's a little risky.
It is risky, but the thing about Terran versus Terran is a lot of Terran players scout somewhat late, like on 14 or 15, even with it being a two-player map. So there is possibility to, for a gasless to actually work. But I haven't played it on Minstrel, so, maybe that's not the case.
Oh, New Zealand fans, look at that. New Zealand.
Yeah. And we've got a C fan right there. I don't know what the heck that resist meant on his sign there. We've got a speed fan there.
Now, in
Ooh, there we go.
TVT, oh, look at that. Got the shirt, signatures, look at him go. Now, TVT, how come no gas deal, 2-player map? Puts you too far
It's
behind?
funny you say that because I've actually started trying it out on Dark Origin, but your own gas is so late if you do that that you don't even really get a benefit because they'll just gasless, and it's kind of hard to punish gasless in general. So if you delay your own gas, you're just doing a delayed push or delayed all in. I'm assuming you're gas dealing to all in. So I'm gonna say that's the answer. I think it just hurts Terran's econ too much, and they can still hold really well with a gasless. So we are in the game now. We've got bottom right. We've got bottom right. It's speed, and in the top left, we do have C. Well,
Right here.
I was about to say you were playing in CPL a little bit, right? You were doing some Terran off racing. I mean, you could gas steal as Terran there and tell me how it goes, but I think it's not very good.
I'll sign up this season just for that reason. I'll start gas stealing everybody else. They're going to be running a probe to my base. Joke's on them. I'm taking your gas.
You'd be like, what the heck? I'm getting gas stolen in Terran versus Terran. What's next? Zerg's gonna rush a drone just to gas steal me in TVZ?
That's it. It's the way to do it. Breaking the meta right now. Breaking the meta.
Well, we saw Speed have 100 gas a little bit faster than C from the right side boosting for a moment. I thought we were gonna see a 10-10-10. Not the case. Everything so far looks very normal. No early SCVs being sent out, not even for forward racks.
So it's amazing, right? The speed boosting from one side of the map to the other, just based on where the minerals are, how you can actually get a couple seconds faster on everything. It's pretty wild.
It is pretty crazy, but the map makers have done a good job to even it up as much as possible. I think, like, on the right side mining, for example, the fastest factory I've ever gotten is 219. And I think on the left side, the fastest factory I've gotten is either, like, 221 or 222. So, like, a 2 or 3 second difference, which, isn't the end of the world, but it can make a difference in scenarios where you want to, like, rush an add-on and go straight tank, or, rush an add-on and go vulture. Having those additional seconds can give you enough time to get your vulture into position to defend some harassment. Now we've got mirrored builds here. It was racks in the main, gas. I think it was 12 gas for both sides.
Everything seems to be pretty standard, nothing tricky.
Yep, and with it being a pro level match, I don't expect to see anybody go for 2-fact, but Terran versus Terran, 2-fact is actually a somewhat strong build, so we still have the potential, but both players have pulled off of gas now, and now we're gonna get some intel. And remember I was talking about the delayed scouting in TVT? Look at this, C like just sent his scout when Speed's scout is already in his base. So if this was a gasless, C would have already pulled off of gas, and there would be no way to punish gasless. So this is why I was saying, you know, even though it's a 2-player map, gasless can be a viable build. Now this SV gets taken off, or taken down, but I think it was taken down too late for him to like try and, you know, get sneaky here and go for like a second factory or something. So I imagine we're just gonna have the command center come down, and Speed's gonna cut an SCV to get his down slightly quicker.
He made one less Marine as well. Is that going to put him under a little bit of pressure here to start this game, or will we have double Vulture before the first Vulture comes across the map?
Well, I actually think you can be vulnerable if you only have one Marine. If you're playing somebody like, throw a name out there, like Tarson or SPX, they really do like to rush with like 2 or 3 Vultures, you know, more than 2 Marines sometimes, something like 3. So Speed's build here can definitely be susceptible to plays like that. You know, I don't know about C's tendencies to make moves like that, and I guess they're not very high because he ends up going into a straight add-on.
See him trying to sneak one Vulture around here. Not going to get much done, but what I've experienced on this map is the pathing can get really, really weird for your units. So it'll, yeah. I know in Terran vs. Terran, it's already hard to move your army, especially when you're moving into siege lines, but it could get worse.
Yeah, I had a few games on here where I was playing a Terran versus Zerg, and they took top right, for example, and half my army went to top right, you know, through the, you know, the edge of the map. Half of them split off towards the middle and got stuck behind the mineral line. And, you know, I was looking away, I was microing somewhere else, and then I looked at the top right and half my army's not there. I'm like, oh, so I guess I'm not busting this base. You definitely got to be very diligent with your movement. Now, this game, we've got 2 factory for both sides. Both have an add-on. There's no third factory, so I'm thinking that this was going to be tank armory or tank Goliath, but I don't remember seeing the armory get put down anywhere, so I think it is just going to be tank Vulture for now.
Yeah. When is the critical point to start switching into Goliaths? I know that obviously they're much more durable than the Vultures, but the Vultures provide the mines and some speed. Like, when is the time you're like, right, enough, no more Vulture production?
Well, really, there's only 2 situations that you want Goliaths. 1, they're obviously going race, or 2, you're getting tricky and you're doing something like a Goliath build, like a Goliath drop. Goliath drop is really, really strong. They deal a lot of damage. They're tanky. Vultures just can't run over there and kill them. And obviously with the mobility of the drop, you know, they're very, very strong. So other than those 2 situations, you really just want to spam Vultures and tanks nonstop at that point. If you can get away with just building tanks, that's obviously the dream scenario, because tanks are what win you the game in TVT. And with it being 3 fact here, even though there's no gas being mined by Speed at the natural, I imagine once he gets a few more SCVs, he'll take his nat gas and then go triple add-on. And we have a deviation from C. He's actually gone into 2 fact with a starport, so he's going to try and mix in a Wraith. And we were talking about the unit movement. That SCV is bugged out, man. I don't think he's going to find that one for a while.
He's
he found
I thought it was he's stuck. He's not happening.
Well, C pushed out that barracks pretty quickly, and he's gotten good intel onto what Speed is doing. And so far, there's no anti-air. It's just 1 Marine, so he's going into Wraith. I think that was an armory at the back of his base for Speed. Maybe it was an academy. I actually didn't get a catch on what it actually was, but if it's an academy and not an armory, these Wraiths could actually rack up a considerable amount of damage.
Yeah, Marines just don't have the DPS even to deal with those, the Wraith, but it's interesting that we see with mines on top of mines over here. Everyone just mining up that one area.
Sure, runs in, sees the tanks. He doesn't really see much, though. I'm not sure if that Wraith actually ran over the mine, but there's still no Goliath out. That must be the armory. Okay, so the Wraith is going to be annoying, but because the armory is still well-timed, maybe he'll get like 2 or 3 SCV kills. Nothing really critical.
Goodbye, Marine. Thanks for playing.
Actually surprised nobody has made like any moves out on the map other than laying those mines. Like, this feels like a map where you could get punished pretty quickly. Like, let's say somebody sets up a contain outside the bridge. Well, you're not getting out from that angle. Let's say somebody expands quickly, and they just set up tanks behind the minerals, like at bottom middle, for example. It seems like, you know, that could be kind of rough to get out of. But we finally see a move out here as Speed attempts to move, but they're going to be denied by the Wraith for now, and that triggers C to be on the move now.
Yeah, I feel like you're exactly right. Whoever controls, I feel like the center is going to be have a better chance of taking a win in this game, right? Like double gas in the middle. If you can hold that and just push your opponent back, you know, they're not allowed to split the map anymore if you can take that area, especially in TVT where setting up these tank lines is just so critical. Oh, did that mine connect?
Sure if it connected, but I didn't get a tank kill. But yeah, getting the center is huge. And also, when you take the center, like, you can easily pressure their bottom middle base, and you can also protect your top middle base. So this is a really killer position that C's already in. Now, those mines spot the vultures moving towards the left side, but there is a ton of vultures here as the scrambles get back into position. Looks like the tanks will just barely be in the nick of time. He's going to focus down SCVs, but this is not Terran versus Protoss. He's going to trade a ton of vultures for... Yes, he got a decent amount of SCVs, but was that worth? I mean, now all of a sudden, C could try and bust top right if he wants.
I was going to say, now that he's cleared all the vultures, it might trigger him to push a little bit because he knows back at home there's no way Speed could be even close to the amount of units that he has right now. Between the Wraith and the tank, I feel like he could be able to bust it. And Speed taking this third base on location seems to be spread a little thin with his units.
Well, he's not going to get punished because C's still just sitting in the center of the map. C building that command center at his natural, where does he want to float it? Either way he goes, it's going to be quite a long time before he gets that base up and running, whereas Speed already has his third base situated. In fact, the gas is already done. And I did see a starport is down for Speed. He may trying to go into a race switch himself, or may just be getting that for the obvious fast science facility for +2.
See now, seeing this right here, he's like, whoop. You're already here, man. You already have that third.
Yeah. He didn't confirm that there were no SCVs transferred just yet, but yeah, seeing the command center already done, he's not going to be happy about that. He's going to catch some more vultures here, which is nice, but okay, not going to get that SCV. Oh, a drop. Interesting.
Let's say these vultures get all the way in the main, but no, there's a tank. Wait.
Oh, I have a feeling that this is going to be a long one, Razz. When players start building drops, you know they're feeling kind of uncomfortable trying to make like a decisive attack somewhere. And we actually do have Wraith with Cloak coming in, but the dropship is going to spot it, and there are 0 units here. There's a tank, one tank. Somebody informed C that a tank does not one-shot an SCV. I don't know how much damage this is going to do. I guess it's kind of annoying, but it's not going to get much damage done, I don't think. And look at Speed trying to go for a counterattack himself, but C spots it.
Yeah, both these players just really multitasking well, really not letting these double port right here, not just one. And C here trying to add on a second one of his own. Wow. Wraith Wars, man.
Yeah, I was not expecting to see him go into double port himself. I thought for sure he was just going to say, all right, you're going to go 2-port Wraith. I'll just, go Goliath or something. But instead, he's going to try and match the production. C's on the move. Oh, well, Speed's on the move also. This time around, once again, the vultures are not going to get much damage. I mean, how many vultures has he lost? It's got to be something like 15 by now. Despite all the losses, though, C is not up in supply. He's just even. Okay, this is going to be a disaster for C. Why is he pushing into this many tanks?
I don't know. He did not have the units to take care of this. And we're just giving up such a good position. I thought he was going to set up here in the bottom center to deny this base as well. Like you said, if we're going to be going into split map late game, being able to block off another base would have been key. Because if he holds the position in the center, he holds the position at 6 o'clock, he then can stop that third base from mining as well in front. So I'm a little surprised he gave up that position.
Now C is on the move, or Speed is on the move now to bottom left. C has got to scramble to get in position, and we did get a look at the race at the natural. Speed has a lot of race already. C needs to be very careful because he could get overwhelmed easily. We got another drop, I imagine, going over towards mid-right, but those tanks are still set up there. I don't think this is going to do that much, and Speed is out-expanding. Okay, never mind, they're not out-expanding. He's even expanding with C. He's taking top right as C takes bottom left.
He's about to be surprised with this dropship, man. Oh! See ya!
Yeah, that's a lot. What was it, like 9 versus 6? So...
yeah, he's been on 2 port production for a little while here.
He may consider trying to go into Valkyries, because I don't know if he's going to be able to actually ever match the Wraith count. He's just already down.
And Speed circling around here, though. A lot of pathways.
Oh my gosh, and there's nothing here. Everything's at bottom left. And he has more race. Well, they're out of position.
There's a Valkyrie.
There's Valkyrie. Yeah, okay. Well, are there any... There's no Goliath. Oh my gosh, is this a...
Oh my god, what a mind connect.
It gets so many connections. Actually, Speed mismicroed a little bit right there. Runs over a turret in the center of the map. He's going to lose everything here. But he may still be able to win the air battle with his race and Valkyrie. Maybe not, actually. There's a lot of race for C. Oh, race hits... I mean, Valkyrie hits so hard, though.
Oh, the Valkyrie of his own.
Is it only
might be
6?
able to push. It's only 6 Wraith. I don't know if he lost it in the middle there. Well, I thought he had at least, like you said, 8 or 9 before. We saw 2 port production was going on for so long. I don't know how he's behind. And now we have Wraith with a Valkyrie here now for C as well. That middle area has been so annoying for Speed, man. He just keeps running over the turrets and the tanks over there.
Now that I see the result of that attack not, working out that well, I'm thinking what Speed could have done was, since he was able to sneak into that position, he could have set up a tank contain, and then, with his rallied units, busted through the center of the map. Yes, he would have traded poorly, but C would have never been able to refortify that position. Then he would have had control of the center. But it is what it is. That attack ended up not working out as expected, but this one should work out well. That is three Valkyries. That is going to melt Razz.
And he had no anti-air over here, so he's going to lose his siege tank line, and I believe Speed is going to be able to push into bottom left.
Definitely could. That's a lot of stuff here. Scrambling, getting in position. Looks like, the first Valkyrie fire went off for Speed, and now he gets a second volley off, and he's going to overwhelmingly win the air battle. Or maybe not. Actually, those Valkyries survived pretty long. Just barely two Razz survived.
Yeah, that was a crazy trade right there. I saw the first shot go down for Speed. I was like, oh man, C's in trouble, but able to get shots off of his own. And the problem is his base is probably going to get pushed back for a little bit. This is going to lose some SCVs.
Just constantly reinforcing here, but it's a really long travel distance. That tank is barely in range. Okay, there's only +1 for C. What about Speed? Speed has +2. So massive power. It's like 12 kills on that single tank.
Oh my goodness, and that mine gonna get down. Goodbye, siege tank. More mines coming down. This base looks like it's in trouble. Is Speed finally taking a strong hold on this game? And we see a 40 supply difference, man. That's it.
Yeah, this looks like an unrecoverable situation. He's gonna lose bottom left. We're 17 minutes into the game. That means main's gonna be mined out in a second. Natural's basically mined out. Speed is on 4 bases, taking a 5th base, and every Valkyrie he builds is mega expensive. I mean, it's 250, 125. Those could be, tanks. He really needs a lot of tanks now, but he doesn't have the money to support Valkyrie and tank.
Yeah, you saw in his player cam, he was not happy with what was happening. He definitely upset there. C was. Oh man, oh man. Oh man, the surround, another one. Oh, the tanks.
How is he able to do this with the vultures? Like, he's lost so many vultures this game, but he still gets mega value. He got like 3 tanks. Yes, he lost, I'm gonna say 12 vultures there, but he also got a lot of SCVs. And he GG's
Oh,
out. Wow. Doesn't
wow.
even wait for the ending result. And that means Speed makes it into the round of 16. Well done.
Unbelievable speed, man.
He's
Unbelievable.
he's crazy, man. His multitask is really sick. I really did think that he had goofed with the first Vulture attack, losing so many for just a handful of SCVs. I thought C would just walk across the map, use his Vulture advantage to buffer tank shots and just overwhelm. But not only did Speed not allow that to happen, he out expanded, out macroed C the entire game, also had a better tech switch with the faster 2-port Wraith. Everything was just better.
And we were worried because he was using so many vultures. I know he was killing SCVs. We're like, wow, sacrificing units. But I don't know if he was ever at a supply deficit. He was always ahead, man.
I don't know how that happens. But man, he crushed it today. It was very impressive play versus Best in particular. Now equally impressive play versus C. So we've got another Terran into the round of 16. Now this is I'm gonna guess the first move. Now what I was theorizing is, imagine if he just sieges here and just overwhelms the center. I mean, there's not very much in the center. Like, yes, there's 5 tanks and they'll trade well, but if you control the center, it feels like that would have been amazing. But either way, this was also a good attack. His race were a little bit late to the party, but he still got a lot of damage done.
Yeah, I mean, he clears some tanks out himself. He's got a lot of SCVs here
Oh,
again, but
you know what's funny is C has more workers.
yeah,
How?
70 workers, man. It's crazy. I always watch TBT. I'm always amazed by people playing with like 80 workers. I'm like, my goodness.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with TBT is you want to build a lot of workers so that you can mine out the map ASAP. Like getting, like, let's say you go down to 55 SCVs, like that doesn't really get you anything because Terran's just going to sit there with tanks and mines, and you having an additional 5 tanks, is that really going to, be the difference maker when you try and bust? Probably not, unless you can combo those 5 tanks with, like 5D matrices. Well, then I could agree with that. But really, you just want to mine out the map ASAP, split it so that you can get mass tank and BCs, and then go down to 20 SCVs or whatever the number is, and just have an overwhelming amount of units. But we never got to that point, and that means we've got barracks for Terran out, we've got speed out, we've got rush out. Am I missing anybody else?
Royal.
Oh, Royal too. I can't remember. I can't believe I forgot him.
There's just so many Terran
There's so
Nyoken. We
many
just don't
Terrans.
even know who's gonna make it.
Yeah.
We just so many of them. Just name a Terran, they made it in.
I'm actually going to check to see if even any Terrans have lost so far in the round of 24.
A couple have lost, like our friend Wiko on
Oh,
157.
yeah, Wiko, Sock, and Scan. I forgot about them.
Well, when you're getting so many in, you just it's just a whole. You're like, oh, I forgot. Oh, two more didn't make it. Unbelievable. We're only dominating.
Yeah, so,
What's crazy is no Zergs, man. Not one Zerg has made it out of the group stage yet. Like
well,
action, hoping.
we're hoping that Action can do something, but being in the losers match is pretty rough. We still got a couple of Zergs remaining. Well, actually, the only 2 Zergs that are remaining after today in the round of 24 are Shine and Jadong, and they did not get easy groups tomorrow. Light is in the group. YSC is in the group. If they have a ZVZ, they could eliminate each other. So that's not good either. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
well,
they're
the
they're
old.
playing they're playing as the first match or the second match technically between them, Shine and Jadong. So one of them is just gonna go directly to the losers match.
Well, you know what's good news?
Yeah.
The C best era
Mm,
could come back, right? It's still hopeful. We're still
it
hopeful
could
that
happen.
we can get that 8-year streak broken here today with Best taking on C in the deciders match. It is still doable.
Yeah, and with it being best versus action, where best is on a heater versus action, it's very likely. I really do hope action can bring it today in today's game. Like the last game I think we saw of him versus best was Polypoid. He had Mega Econ, or not Polypoid, Vermeer. I don't know if you remember that game, but he had like Mega Econ, and then there was like one fight that just didn't go his way, and he just tapped out. And I was like, were you really out of it. It kind of similar to his GG timing that we just saw on Dominator. Like, yes, I think in the end he was probably going to lose, but he didn't even wait to see the result of the Goliath Muta battle. Like, both players had really low Goliath and Muta count, and he still just GG'd out despite having 3 macro hatches on the right side.
He was like, "Nope, I've had enough of this.
Yeah.
Not having it. Just send me on my way. Not waiting to see what these glides do here. They've already hurt me enough. I won't take any more pain or punishment." But Speed, he's out. That guy from Team Liquid, man, genius, genius.
He's been on top of it. He's been talking. I mean, he called it. He said Sharp last season. He said Speed this season. I think I remember he also has another prediction. He was saying that Stork is playing really well. Even though I think Stork is really good PvT in general, I don't know about these two in particular players, Mind and JYJ. Like, when we've seen them play PvT, at least Mind, in my opinion, he looks like almost unstoppable in PvT. Like, he just plays so solid. His attacks are really decisive. I don't think I've ever seen him mess up a trade. So we'll see. We'll see if his call on Stork is correct. I think that's a tough group.
You never know what Stork might pull out. He pulls out the 2 base carrier, something crazy too. Best to one, he catches you. He could take a game, man.
Yeah, if he's pulling out the powerful 12 Nexus into 2 base carrier, what, that speeds up your build, what, like 30, 40 seconds, something like that? 30 or 40
Yeah.
seconds when you're going carriers is a huge freaking deal. All of a sudden, you're going to have almost all your interceptors done instead of them just starting.
Power of the 12 Nexus. Power of the 12 Nexus makes
Well,
Protoss feel untouchable. Unless you're fighting against Terran at this point, so they're just too strong.
with PVZ coming up in our losers match, we were theorizing some vetoes. I thought that we're going to have a minstrel ban. That didn't actually come out. What do you think are some good maps for PVZ? Like, are you vetoing minstrel? Are you vetoing kickback? What do you like from your experience so far on the ladder?
Well, kickback, I've been trying to sort out a little bit because you do get 3 gas accessible to you right away, right? So that's a strong PvZ map as long as you can get out of a lurker contain, because that's what I've been experiencing from higher level, especially Korean Zergs, that they're like, "Oh, you're going to try to take a fast 3rd base? No problem. I'm going to go like 7 hatcheries. I'm going to have like 20 lurkers outside your base." So, like, the lurker field is crazy. But that is a solid map to be able to get 3 gases, push out a lot of other bases. If you could secure another main, like, you almost pretty much lock up the game. So I could imagine best letting kickback go through. If not, Deja Vu, I'm not such a big fan PVZ right now just yet, but I wouldn't mind that. Or anytime 2-player map as well is pretty good. But Minstrel is just the pathing gets me. Or Monty Hall is not terrible PVZ man either. 3 pathways, block counters. It's okay.
Sounds like you got a lot of options. So we'll be going into a break and then we'll be back with our losers match. And we are back. This is our losers match. It's going to be Best versus Action. I guarantee you nobody had this on their liquid bet. One of these players is going to be eliminated. Action, even though he's smiling, I really don't think he's smiling about this particular matchup. We've got double kickback ban, and that means we are going to see deja vu.
Okay. Surprised both players banned kickback. It seems like I don't know if people just haven't figured it out yet or what, but you would think it's good PVZ.
Yeah, I think it's probably that they haven't gotten a good feel for it just yet because I had the same thoughts as you did. As a Terran, 3 gas, 3 base, immediately, sign me up. So I have played a few games on kickback, and the problem is kind of what you were saying is if you play a Zerg, they just contain you hardcore, and they just have so much stuff that you can't break out. Now it's kind of a little bit different for Terran. I tried to play mech there, so I got my 3 bases, but the thing is as I was powering up, well, I'm just letting Zerg take the whole map, and by the time I moved out, they had like 20 queens. So it's kind of rough in that situation, obviously. And if you go Marine Medic, well, they build Sunkens, and now they have 3 bases. So it's pretty hard to deal with Zerg in my experience. But we are ready. Let's get into our losers match. Somebody's going to be eliminated. Will it be Action or will it be Best? And in the top left are Zerg. It is Action. And in the top right, we do have Best.
So I played a couple games on this map. What always seems interesting, it's almost fighting spirit-ish, like with the way the layout is. But those ramps into the middle, man, those can be where the challenge comes in. If Zerg can set up well on top of the high ground, or even if Protoss can, it really makes life way more difficult trying to push up, It's not like there's a million routes into the center if you get that cut off. Like, it becomes very, very difficult.
Haven't gotten contained on this map yet, so I have no experience in that particular situation, but I have gotten onto my own high ground, and the center of the map is also low ground. So if you have high ground and then also they're coming from the center on low ground, I mean, it's a really dominating position for you, just controlling that area. So we'll see if Action wants to set up a massive contain like you were talking about on kickback. Now this could be 12 Nexus, but more than likely it's just going to be a Forge.
Yeah, it's been very meta right now for Zerg to play Overpool, but I say that an Action is going to go for a 12 hatch, but playing these 12 Nexus straight away is definitely rolling the dice into best of 1. I'm not sure that's the route I would go, but these guys know way better than me.
Well, there's the 12 hatch. There's the double scout. Now, since Deja Vu is a new map, I don't have much experience seeing if this is like cannon rushable, but I don't think it is. I feel like okay, maybe I get.
It is.
It is? Okay, I guess right there it is.
Yep.
Oh my.
Wow.
Okay.
That control of that drone, man. My goodness.
I feel like I saw. Go ahead.
So he's sending the second probe. I mean, I'm hoping he's just going to pull one home and just... Okay, good, because that when you do the double scout, you see that it's 12 hatch. That's what you want to do, right? You want to get both probes there so you can block one in behind and get the second one to build in front or mess up the drone drill so you can get it. But at this point, the hatchery's so far along, I think he would just get sunken up. So I'm glad that Best is just going to play this out standard.
Definitely a good decision from Best. What I was going to say is I think I've seen a few cannon rushes lately, whether it's been StarCastTV or ASL, and they've gone really well. So when I saw that those 2 drones were pulled off from Action, I just thought to myself, okay, this guy's not effing around this game. He's making sure that this cannon does not get up. There's no chance in hell that Best is going to make this work.
I will not get knocked out of ASL with this.
Yeah.
Not this build.
Well, Probe's still alive, getting some good intel. I didn't actually catch the gas timing of Action, but I'm going to imagine this was around the typical 240 gas timing, just kind of gauging where we're at with the gas. 100 gas got spent. There it is, goes into the lair. Meanwhile, it's just a single cannon for Best. He's really ramping up his tech quite quickly. I think cybernetics is even halfway done, potentially, maybe even completely done. Almost got 150 gas.
Probably should be done because he went gate before cannon. He even skipped that, so he's really optimized. Yeah, should be finished right here. So he's really optimizing. He's got a really early Stargate, man.
This does look like it's going to most likely be Stargate, especially since he's taking the natural gas. We've seen also in StarCastTV Star League, double Stargate be pretty impactful. I think all the games that I saw double Stargate, the player that went for it ended up winning. I'm not sure if I remember Best in particular going for that, but he will definitely have the opportunity. Oh my goodness. That is an extremely quick Citadel. 425 Citadel with the Stargate.
We're going to see StRyKeR DT. We're skipping everything. I would imagine maybe +1 is not even started yet. Yes, he skipped +1. He will just put down the Templar Archives, probably a second gateway. Probably get out at least, you know, some people play with 2 DTs, some play with a little bit more. Man, he's living on the edge right now with just no block at all. Just living on the edge here. No Best.
But you
no Best.
Dude, he didn't even know that that wasn't there. There was no Overlord to spot. He just moved in right when the probe moved. How did he know that?
Zerg players have a sense for it, man. They're like, if I can run Lings by, oh, wow. But we only got 2 Lings in, and we lost it right there, but...
It was good defense. I thought for sure more were going to get in there, but now all he's done so far is just be annoying. Like, yes, he's disrupted the mining a little bit. There's the Templar Archive, and the Lings got off a critical scout. I mean, he sees how fast the Citadel was, so he knows that this can only be DT Corsair. What else could this gas possibly be rushed for? So I imagine is probably going to be rushing Overlord speed to make sure that that doesn't do damage, but I could be wrong. Either way, this first Zealot goes into third base. No damage so far.
Good placement.
Look at micro.
Unbelievable. We do have 2 StRyKeR out already. And sometimes with this build, once you get a couple Overlords here, I mean, he has so many over here, but you can sacrifice even the StRyKER if you're going to make sure you're going to kill all the Overlords to get the DT in. Is there an Overlord at the natural is the question.
The gap, man. Oh, but the senses must not be tingling as he doesn't run in.
Yeah, certain players see that opening, they're like, "Whoa, just unbelievable."
He saw the blur.
He knows. He saw the blur.
Duncan immediately coming down at the third base and the natural. There are also Mutas in position.
These StRyKER on the map are going to be dead, Nyoken. They're going to go down. I appreciate what he's trying to do, but this is not good.
I'm surprised that he actually committed with this. I mean, it seemed like it got scouted. It seems like this is such an obvious move. Now okay, well, DTs are going to get some kills here. That was a good drill, limiting the damage. He ends up only losing 3 drones. You know, after it got scouted, I thought, well, you know, you have a lot of gas. You can still make use of this fast Templar Archive. You could go into Maelstrom, for example, but just loses those DTs for very minimal damage. Okay, really good micro right there to save the Mutalisk. Also, did you see that focus fire kills one of the Scourge, so that Corsair, when it pops out, won't immediately die.
I think we're in big trouble here, Nyoken. We never want to have the Muta with Scourge sitting over our Stargate to try to get out of this. This is going to be very hard. Best not mining early second gas. Oh my god, another StRyKER down. He's probably going to need to morph at least 1 Archon to get out of this, or get a Godly Storm. The problem is action doesn't even make... Oh my goodness.
The one on out of range.
Unbelievable. He needs a Godly Storm, and that's it. That's the one he needed.
Kind of whiffed on those top Mutas, though. I thought it was going to be a little better than that.
Goodness.
Oh, he thought he was going to hit also. Look, he's already transferring the probes. He's like, I got this. Oh, no.
I'm surprised we're even seeing any more Muta. Because now he can just power on Hydra, and he would be doing what? I don't know why are we leaving?
I guess he suspects that there must be an Archon coming or something.
Maybe he feels bad for Best. He's like, listen, I really want you to have a chance of playing C. You know, let me back up here.
Oh, there's 2 goons here. Cannon is actually gonna complete. There's a Templar hidden. Yeah, look, he's positioning it behind the gateway, so it's not easily spotted. Trying to bait these mutas in. There was no Hydra switch. I still think actions. Oh my gosh, look how hidden it is. You can barely see it. He's probably like, where did that storm come from?
Random storms on the map. It's a you know, part of deja vu now. Oh my god. And this is hurting me, man.
Finally able to push this back, but yeah, this is okay. Not gonna push this back. I mean, technically he does, but the mutas could have jumped on those 3 dragoons. Still mutalist. I'm surprised there's still no Hydras. There's also, I don't remember seeing an evolution. Oh, actually, there is an evolution chamber at the 3rd base. I take that back.
The real problem for Best now becomes his gateway count is almost nothing. And we're already 940 in. We're on 4 gateways trying to get up to 5 and 6. We have no anti-air for these muta really. Like, we have dragoons that'll chase them around, but it doesn't matter. They don't even have range. Oh my goodness, Nyoken. It's a disaster right now. No, Best. No!
Oh, and you love to see that mass drone already just rallied right there. He's taking another base, also puts him on 7 hatches. He's completely in the driver's seat. I mean, there's no world where Action could possibly lose this, right? I mean, he's just at a massive lead. He's even got a 2nd evolution chamber coming.
Yeah, this is a terrible position, and Action's continuing to make... Oh my god, a whiff.
I don't even know where that came from. Do you see the Templar? Okay, it's next to the Nexus.
He's hanging on. He's holding his arm up like, you know, I'm not going to make it very long. Let me hang right here. And this is going to continue. We have no Sair. We have no Dark Archon, right? So we can never stop these muta. And, you know, people always say to me, oh, what do you think, man? Should I make Sair? Yeah, this is why. When you play people at this level and they have muta and you don't have Sair or Dark Archon, the muta are immortal. They will kill every Templar as you move on to the map.
Exactly. It has to be one or the other. It can't be goons. Goons are like... They're like Goliath in the sense they do half damage, but they're worse. They don't have the crazy range that Goliath do.
I think Best is just getting his TV. Oh my god, we have no Robo for sure.
But he can't afford goons and Templars and Robo. That would be crazy.
This is painful for me to watch. I might have to close my eyes for a little bit here. My goodness.
There's the Robo now. It's halfway done. It's going to be 6 or 7 gate production with the Robo, but it's triple evolution chamber, 7 hatch Zerg, lurker contain, 4 bases, soon to be 5 bases as the drone is about to put the base at bottom left. The lurkers are going to be in range of the forge, so the forge may even get denied. Yeah, he's focusing it down now.
Yikes. I hate to say, but a familiar scenario here. I've seen this before.
Yeah, 140 to 95. I feel like I'm watching a Protoss versus Terran here.
Oh, man. The muta go back in for more. Best.
I like how he just ran in there, just sniped the probe, like, just to say, like, don't forget I'm still here, and just smacked him down.
If we have this, let me look at the macro right now. 155 to 96. Oh my god, a storm wasted. Is he gonna... Didn't get that upgrade. Oh no.
Things don't even have speed, by the way. I just noticed that. So he's just been powering like crazy.
Are we gonna build a hatchery out there too, or what?
He could.
Is the Manor hatch about to come in?
I would.
I mean, get out of my game, man. Here's a Manor hatch. Oh god.
This is Protoss's one attempt. There's no follow-up attempt to this. And I have a feeling there's It's not going to be much of an attempt here. Another whiff of a storm. You're not getting out of this contain, man. There's also Scourge. He can suicide these Scourge all day.
Oh,
It doesn't matter if they
no.
die.
I might cry. Oh.
This is one of the most dominant games I've seen. The Lynx still, okay, they do have speed now. He's going for it. That was a good storm. Finally gets some good damage onto the Mutas. He's going to eliminate them now, but there's still nothing to buffer for the Goons. It's just pure Goon, and Hive is going to be completed pretty soon. So, I mean, if he's going to break out, now's the time before Crackling kicks in.
Not even the Crackling at this point. Just wait till the Cheeto Dust gets here and those Goons do 0 damage.
Yeah, I noticed that the Zerg also already has 2-1 upgrades, and Preuss is at just 1-1. Goons are getting melted, absolutely blasted.
Oh, poor Best. And you know what the real sad part about this is, Nyoken?
What is it?
We gotta wait one more year for the matchup again.
Okay, well, I mean, to be fair,
fighting amazing.
Yeah, he's
getting
getting
really well.
He's getting the best trades of his life here. It's just a matter of, dude, you're down 2 bases, and this guy has 10 hatcheries. He also is up in upgrades. He also has Hive, and you don't have any more storms available.
Yikes. Best just kind of going through the motions here.
They're looking on. Oh, man, he gets that one. Are you serious? He gets both of the observers.
We talked about this. Once they go underground, we can't see them.
It's so true. And it's just endless Zerg. Yeah, why doesn't he just set his rally point there? Then he wouldn't even have to look at that screen. He could just be there immediately. Another lurker gets burrowed. Mutas, they're looking for a Templar. Gets it.
They found it.
Well, it's 15:30. He's got about a minute left, and then Protoss is going to be mined out. 24 kill Archon, which is insane. So that tells you how effectively he's trading, but it's just never, this is never going to end. It's just going to keep coming.
And now we're finally getting to the high ground part, so it gets real fun.
Yeah. And that's actually the real lurker field up there. The one directly outside of the choke wasn't even the real lurker field, and all the Zealots got melted. Not much remaining. Best, he's got to tap out in a second now. Another observer dies.
This is it. You see it on his face. He knows it's over, man. He's feeling the pain. Coming in from group favorite now to being eliminated just tells you how tough this tournament really is. And down goes Best.
Action finally gets some redemption for like the past 3 seasons these players have faced off versus each other. So you know for sure that Action is feeling really good about that win. And that sets us up for a rematch between him and C.
Yeah, Action gets another shot at C after, a game 1 that was kind of tough. That game looked like maybe he got sparked and woke up there, Nyoken, because he just turned it on for that game. He was just decisive and went after him, man.
Obviously the Corsair DT attack was, the downfall of Best. He messed that up. The DT's only got 3 kills. In retrospect, we obviously shouldn't have done that, but I'm still surprised that he even went for it after it getting scouted. Do you think that was still the correct move to go DT, or would you have gone something else, like just rush Storm, like rush Maelstrom, or like, I don't know.
I think the DT, just making a couple is not a bad thing. This to me was even worse. Giving up 2 Sair and then sacrificing the DT for 3 drones. Maybe keep the DT on the map. Like, you have all the overlords pushed back. Maybe just use them to deny vision. But the biggest issue was losing the Sair, because once you lose, and he didn't even start making any more. Because once you lose the Sair, it's just Zerg can just dominate you with the Muta. Like, it's just, they're just impossible to fight. Like you said, Dragoons do like nothing. It's hard to storm. They're flying everywhere. That to me was the biggest error, was losing the Sair.
We're going into another break, and we'll be back with our final game of the day. And this is the final game of the day. Rematch between Action and C. We've got Speed out in first. Best eliminated. And there it is. Monty Hall. The first Monty Hall game
No.
of the tournament.
Wow. How do you feel, Nyoken? TVZ, Monty Hall.
I don't know what to think, man. At least it's not Terran versus Protoss. I think Protoss is really good on this map because of all their mobility. Not that Zerg doesn't have mobility, but at least with Terran versus Zerg, you know, Terran is so strong on 2 bases, 3 bases. They don't really need to expand to a 4th base. So in that sense, I like Terran's chances here a little bit better. But again, it's still a map that's very mobile for Zerg. You know, they can swoop in over the natural. They can come back into the main really quickly. And of course, if you get bottled up on those mineral lines that the observer's pointing out here, I mean, I can see the AI bugging out and Marines trading really ineffectively.
Do you go like a 13cc and get tricky? Or do you just play into a barracks and mine something out? Because I feel like that's always like that fine line of like how greedy can you be without getting caught? Like if you mine out the right and they mine out the right and they have an early pool, like you're dead. Like, what do you think? Is it worth to just be greedy or just go standard middle of the road here?
Definitely can. I think just playing normal here, mm, it could be good, but you know, maybe see, you know, his that delayed mech opener. I really don't think it's the strongest build, but he made it look really strong. So maybe if he can get a good gamble here and not get punished, maybe he can follow up with another even stronger type of mech play.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think mech would, because of the way the map is built, is it better just to play with mech and go from there?
Well, I think if you're gonna play mech here, I think it's intended to win the game with like a 1-1 timing. I think mech is too immobile on Monty Hall. I think actually Marine Medic is better, and obviously C can play Marine Medic, but maybe he's thinking like maybe I'll just 2 base push to victory. I mean, Monty Hall, if you look at the terrain, you can get 4 bases immediately, is assuming you survive to that point. So maybe Mech is actually strong here. I actually haven't seen a Mech game on Monty Hall. Um, so we are ready. We've got action in the bottom right, whereas in the top left, we do have C.
Will anyone get tricky? Double barracks in the middle or lift or something?
He could. I think this was one of the first maps that we saw BBS be like a real threat versus Zerg. You know, I'm talking, you know, outside of the olden days. You know, once 8 Rex became popular, you almost never saw BBS anymore versus Zerg because Terrans felt like they could do good damage in transition, whereas BBS you can't transition. I mean, you're mega all in. But we don't see any SCVs moving out. We don't see any early drones mining minerals. You know, those minerals, I mean. So it's not going to be like a 9 pool and then some crazy mine out.
Yeah, I feel like Zerg doesn't have as much early pressure like Terran or Protoss might have on this map of like being able to skip workers unless you built a hatchery and got lucky that they also mined out the same side your hatchery is. So I guess you should feel pretty comfortable here early to start.
Imagine so. This map is hard to scout on also. So we could see something like lurkers, and it looks like C is actually going to go CC first. And I saw the camera move towards the right side, and action is going to build a hatch on the left side. That means C is most likely not going to get punished. So we are going to have mega macro here.
Yeah, it's always tricky, right? Which way you're gonna go, and it seems like they're gonna go opposite sides there. So we're gonna get into a game here now. We're gonna get into some gas before pool.
So
Okay.
fast gas from action. This means that he could be going for like speedling or something, but how do you make a speedling play work on Monty Hall? I don't know. And is that has to be a command center, right?
That was, I believe, a command center. I believe 400 went down. The observer heard you. He double checked for you.
Yeah, I thought he was going to jump the SCV through and then build the command center over there, but this makes a little more sense. You want to mine that out completely so you can transfer easily, and there is the fast gas. So this is going to be mech, and it's going to be about 25 seconds faster than last time. So that means that when the mutas actually get across the map, assuming they're mutas, this time around the Goliaths more than likely are going to have range. So if Action struggled to get SCV kills and Goliath kills last game, it's going to be even harder to get kills this time around.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine Muta have to be the play, at least early, like you were saying, and the mobility of them, being able to harass, getting on all three corridors with the air must be, the stronger point. If he doesn't mine out those areas, like the mech can't get to him. So, uh, I mean, I don't see why he would choose a Hydra play, but maybe, he has a special build ready to go.
He can also, like, if you go lurkers, I think you can burrow them and then push them through the mineral line also, right? So that could be a potential play. I'm curious what all this gas was for. Like, him going the extractor first got him about 80 additional gas than usual, but I don't think he spent it for Ling speed. Maybe I still don't know what this is for, but the SCV is already on the right side. So now Zerg, I think Zerg saw it. So now Zerg knows what side has been opened up for Terran, most likely, assuming they're not one basing. And the Overlord, well, I guess he doesn't really see anything in the main because the Marine is just sitting there at the front.
In my brain, I'm sitting here playing this out right now, and I'm like, is Action just playing it to kind of save standard, and now C's taking a pretty big risk going CC first, and it's going to pay off just tremendously, right? Like, I feel like Action is trying to play this 2-attribute, like, oh, I'll just play it, but now you're up against CC first into mech. There's going to be a lot of units. Oh,
he got it.
Wow.
And I can't remember the game, but there's a video of C trying to do something similar, trying to push a Vulture through, and he tried it like 4 times and he couldn't get it through. So this time around, he's been successful. And the Vulture is going to see nothing here. Now, how does he push this through? He can't do that anymore. I actually thought the SCV on the right side was going to be used to be pushed through, but not the case. Now I guess he's just denying this base. I guess he was expecting the third base to be there, but instead it's on the left side.
I was like, will he make one more Vulture and jump it through the left?
He might. There's no opening over there for the Lings to come and help.
Another macro hatch going down here. He's taking the 3rd gas already and a 4th hatchery for Macro Man. Action is getting ready, I think, for this mid game.
And he still doesn't know exactly what it is. This could be Wraith. It could be Valkyrie. It's unlikely to be, Wraith or Valkyrie, but it definitely could be. All he has seen is a single Vulture. I think he probably suspects that it's once again going to be Goliath. And we do have the Goliath already out in the field.
Yeah, right now this is where this map kind of gets funny, right? Like, we have C playing on the upper right side and Action playing on the lower left. So, like, they're not even in the same pathway yet. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out and who pushes to where, because, like you said, you really can't. He can push as far down to the right as he wants. There's still a mineral wall blocking that side.
I think he only built like 3 mutas. It wasn't a big commitment, at least not just yet. I don't know how much. I don't even know what this is intending. Okay, it's even just 1. I don't know what his follow-up is going to be, because I still don't see a building except for maybe that one by his main now. It looks like it's probably a Hydra den, so maybe this time he's learned his lesson. Not going to be mutas this time. Instead, just going to go into mass Hydralisk. The muta, even though it doesn't get the most intel, he at least sees the starport. So he knows that, once again, this guy is going for a 2-1 timing. That means that Action can drone like a madman, really get his econ going, instead of having to worry about an incoming push.
Yeah, I think that's going to be one of the biggest. Wow, Queen's Nest already. But that's like one of the biggest differences from the last game, right? I feel like he was not on many drones, but he's been able to get the macro hatch up. He's got 3 bases, 3 gas going. The mass Muta may be way more effective because we did see more Muta pop out. So I'm wondering if he's going to stay there. But then why the Queen's Nest? Are we going to some Guardian craziness?
Kind of confused by the strategy here. He also had an evolution chamber. Like, the way this is working out, it looks like it's mass Muta with Ling upgrades like armor, but Lings are not exactly the best unit versus Goliath unless you actually have Hive tech. So maybe it's a rushed Hive for Crackling with armor. Not sure exactly, but we've got Sunkens coming down to help defend versus this. Vulture actually snuck in. He's going to get some kills onto the drones here. And also Action is taking a 4th base in the center of the map.
Well, he's pulling the Muta away with this one Vulture as he runs 2 more down. So really good job here from C to distract him while all of a sudden, oh hey, just kidding, 2 more.
He's got +1, so he's going to be 1 or 2-shotting these drones. He's going to be Action's got to be very careful to limit the damage. And you know, I noticed in Action's base, like you said, he has the Queen's Nest, but the Hive is not started. So is this for Queens? I still don't understand the strategy.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we're seeing here just yet. It hasn't unfolded all the way. Mine's upgraded for C as well. Speed, it must be because, like you said, we got Queen's Nest, no Hive. So, what else would he be making?
There's no Queens built either, though. They're not even built to bank up energy. This is an all-around weird build from Action. Maybe he's relying on C, thinking that it's going to be Hive. I think he saw the Queen's Nest and then, you know, bait him into attack, whereas Action's just building units the whole time. Still not sure exactly what this is intended to be, but another, okay, I thought it was going to be another drone raid as he gets just 1. 4th base is up for Action, but there's no saturation over there.
Yeah, and C has mined out the middle, so he's going to be looking to push through that. He's going to take that base, and he's going to be looking to push through that corridor to get his damage done. And it could get dangerous there for Action.
Oh,
hard to read.
Interception.
Oh,
wow. He ran over a mine, so he saw it coming.
Oh, that was a lot of damage on this Muta, man. Oh, another one down. We lost like 2 Muta, and we got so much damage. I don't know, man. C looking strong.
It is still a lot of mutas, so what's this? 2 groups of mutas? The Terran only has, what, like 16 Goliaths? You know, it's a lot, but it's not an overwhelming amount. Zerg still has 4 bases. He's starting to build Hydras here. He's almost up in supply, so does need to be careful about that. Finally, we have scans go off, and he scans and sees still this guy has no Queen's Nest. I'm surprised that he scanned and attacked.
This may trigger it all the way.
It's dead base. That's way too many mutas.
And he is now triggered to attack across the map. Action doing what he did last time, man, where he is just countering. First Queens are on the map, but it's like it's gonna take us forever to get that energy up, right? Like,
oh my gosh, he's gonna kill both bases. There's so many mutas. Where's the vessel? I thought that the vessel turned around to irradiate, but he's just gonna keep pushing. I don't think this is enough Goliath for Terran to base trade. Oh, he went tanks instead of Goliath.
And he's got to hurry up. We're just now buying time with these Sunkens, right? Like, if C does not move, those Queens eventually will get energy, and he will have some serious problems. But you're right, Nyoken. There's no way that's enough Terran to win this game.
Definitely not enough. And there's 5 Queens here. The Sunkens buy a lot of time also. Zerg didn't actually kill that command center at top middle. Now he's going back for more, and we'll finish this off.
Yeah, I think C's dead, man. Both bases down. Action can continue just to make Sunkens and delay. Those Queens eventually will get energy, and even if he uses them on the Goliaths and kills the army with the Muta, the game is over.
Yeah, these Sunkens are so painful. They're gonna take so long to get rid of. One of the Mutas ends up dying, but I mean, who cares about one Muta? He needs to kill all 20 of them. Finally, he gets through. But look how many Goliaths are here. There's, what, 10? one irradiate. There's no turrets either, so this is literally it. He needs an irradiate that blows up every single muta here. Otherwise, C's going to be eliminated. This is a ton of mutalists.
Wow.
That's a really good one. Not enough.
Wow, Action just flexing his muscle here, huh? Saying nope, not again, C. Not again.
It was close. Like, if he had, I think, 8 more Goliaths there, he probably would have won the battle. In fact, those ones that are coming across the map now may have been able to turn the tides, but not able to do it. Action is actually not won this game yet. Did the command center actually get blown up at top middle? Because I see there is a building there, and supplies are really close. Like, it's 80 to 60. Terran or Zerg lost a lot for that. What happened to the queens also? Are they all gone?
No, they're there. They're floating over the spawning pool right now. I know that they have over 150 energy at this point because they were at 140 when we saw them a little while ago. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Now I'm like, I was like, oh my goodness, this is for sure a win here for Zerg. But I mean, if I were him, I would start brutling the Goliath. Yeah, there we go. Now, all right, now Action taking care of business.
Oh, just one-shots everything.
Good unit. Good unit.
Almost one-shots everything. Okay, well, I guess still not out of it. Just yet another. If he has another irradiate, he could kill everything.
Doesn't seem like it, but he is mining again. Why is Action's supply just so low, man?
Yeah, I don't know. Was there like a vulture run by or something that I missed? Like, I'm looking, if you look at the bottom middle base, like his first natural, it doesn't seem like there's that many drones there. Like, I keep looking, it's like, is he really mining with just 4 drones on the minerals?
That's what it looks like, and it looks like the same for the other base. It only looks like 4 or 5 drones, that's it. So, C, despite not that great of trades there, man, he has only about 6 drones, man.
He's actually not dead. I thought that Action was completely dead, or C was completely dead, but I guess the Econ was ransacked somehow. Maybe we missed a vulture run by. But C has now rebuilt his natural. He's rebuilding his third base. He still has these powerful upgrades to fall back on. Zerg doesn't have the greatest upgrades. They have queens though, which will one-shot everything. But if C can get this base up and running, he's still in this game. I can't even believe it. Actually, I think C's going to win here because he's going to resaturate his third base. Zerg is legitimately on 3 hatches now. Like, he doesn't have his 4th and 5th hatch anymore. He can't, spam drones.
I know it's a little eco. Oh, we have a lot of Hydra here. But if Action goes here and doesn't win this fight, that could be it.
Hopefully he's got energy on his queens, because if he attacked without energy, he's just going to lose everything. Okay, well, there's one unit that's gone. That Hydra running forward is going to die. I'm worried. I'm very worried that this is going to be a disaster. If he has EMP and lands it. Oh, there goes the tank. 1, 2, 3.
No, don't already.
Oh, the mutas are going to focus down the tanks in the back. And is there enough? It looks like the answer is going to be... Well, maybe. These 4 guys appeared out of nowhere.
I was about to say, I don't know. Is it enough?
Oh, the mine!
Oh my god!
He's gonna hold it. Look at it!
Another radiate! Oh my god!
What is
over
going
the Hydra
on?
too.
Dude, Zerg is mega all
believe
in. I don't think Action's gonna try and transition. This is what Action does when he panics. Is he just continues to all in? And I think now he's realized that this is not gonna work anymore. He should realize it's not gonna work anymore, but he may continue to do it anyways. He sent a drone over to mid left. But there's a vulture sitting there, so this base is going to be denied. These mutas are doing good damage, stopping this base.
But there's so many workers for C compared to Action. We saw Action's third base. There were 6 drones mining, man. Soon to be less if these vultures come in here.
Soon to be none.
I
Hydras,
mean,
they need to get over
why
here and
didn't
help.
he just? I don't understand why he didn't just power up, man. He got the fourth hatchery. Power up.
He had 5 hatches. I think he was just gonna outright win with the mutas, so he didn't think he needed any more. I mean, imagine from Zerg's point of view, you kill two bases, the guy's just pushing you, and if you stop the push, don't you just win? Like, I mean, I can't imagine killing 2 bases and then losing.
All right, this is a lot of queens.
Queens are pretty good.
This is a lot of queens, a lot of free kills there. But if C secures this base, man, uh, he'll be on 3 full gas. I mean, I don't know if action on 3 bases can bust him.
I think he can, and like I was saying, this is what Action does. He just continues to all in, and he's not able to get another base because Vulture's denied mid left. There's something over at mid right, probably a Vulture sitting there denying mid right. Now he's going to take his 4th base right outside of his main. But the fact that C is not attacking is good news for Action, because Action just needs time to get his queen energy up. That one doesn't even have 150, man. He gets a parasite off, which is good, but would really have loved to get a tank kill, obviously. Another Vulture run by. It's going to knock down a bunch of drones here.
We're down to 4 drones right there. That's it.
Another parasite, and getting the vessel with the parasite is fantastic, because that is such an expensive unit, and you know C is mega gas starved, so he's never gonna like just suicide it, right? He needs to have it with his army at all times. So that was a really clutch parasite.
I mean,
Action needs
2-1.
to get the right.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 2-1 here. If C can just push me parasite more.
He doesn't need any more parasites. He needs to just save his energy for broodling. You just gotta broodling the tanks, man. You're going Hydras. Hydras can plow through the Goliaths, even if they don't have upgrades. But they're not gonna plow through Goliath plus tank, especially not when Terran's already 2-1. So it is mandatory that he saves the queen. Now he ran over a mine, so Terran sees it. He's gonna focus down. And there goes 1 tank, 2 tanks. But Terran's won this game. I can't believe it. Terran's gonna kill this base, and that's gonna put Action completely all in.
He's just gonna have
maybe not. That's a lot of queens. Still a chance. Another broodling goes off. All right. Is there enough Hydras to deal with 5 Goliaths? Yes.
Well, now with those reinforcements.
Broodling. Oh, his Hydras are rank. You need to run, man.
Gotta get. That base is held.
He can't stop this. These queens don't have enough energy. There's too many tanks.
Man.
He just
GG. C goes crazy, man.
Once again, he GG'd before even using all of his queen energy. I still think that he was dead, but you have units that one-shot. Why not even just attempt it? And I cannot believe that C won that game. How is it possible? His Goliath count didn't look nearly enough to stop the Mutalisk, but maybe that Irradiate, remember he had that huge Irradiate, maybe the Irradiate did enough softening damage to half the army that it allowed the Goliath to remain critical mass?
That it definitely got a lot of splash off. It definitely hurt it. I just think he didn't make enough drones at some point, man. Like, why did we have 4 at the nat and 6 at the third? Like, we had time to power. We made an early 4th hatchery.
Yeah, look at his drone count. It's 26. Like, I realize he got hit by some Vulture run-bys, but it wasn't that bad, was it? I guess we'd have to watch the replay to see, but oh man, he was desperate with this attack. Like, I don't fault him for it, because he has queens. You're gonna one-shot all the tanks. Why not try and just end the game?
Yeah. I mean, Nick, if you would have started the day and told me that C and Speed were going to be the 2
Yeah,
guys that get out of this group, I would be like, oh man, Nyoken, you need some more sleep. But
yeah.
this was unbelievable. I mean, once he holds, I mean, he lost both of the commanders, but once he holds this round, Action has no money.
And then
He
that
has
mine connects from downtown
Look at
plus
that.
the irradiate. Yeah, the
Oh,
irradiate, crazy damage. So these irradiates is really what saved him. Look how close it is. Like, it's 4 Goliaths, 2 Vultures, and 1 tank.
oh my goodness. I think even the fans are a little shocked.
Man, I
I
really wish we coulda got a replay of the push at the natural, like, the big push through the Sunkens, because that was obviously the game-changing move, along with the killing of the command centers, obviously.
I can't believe you GG'd out though. Like you said, that was early. Like you use all your queen energy, you run back, maybe delay him enough, you kill around the tanks, and then you can get out. I don't know.
Yeah, I still think C would have won, but like you said, I mean, in their queens, they one-shot. It's an instant kill. It's not like you're sitting there waiting to see if it's gonna die or not. You know it's gonna die. But once again, Action just can't put it together in ASL. I mean, he put it together in the game versus Best. That was really well done from him. I mean, he crushed it there. I was looking at him like, yes, this is the Action that I want to see. But no answer to the mech, which is surprising because, in the past 3, 4 years where Terran players tried to make mech work, yes, there was a point where mech looked unstoppable. But then once players like Soma figured out, like, oh, you just power really hard, you get queens and you get hydras, and you just make sure that this guy never gets a fourth base, we really haven't seen a lot of mech games. Of course, now that Flash is coming back, he's been showing some mech games, and to be fair, they have been off of CC first. But I don't think I've seen a mech game where Flash goes mech CC first, loses both his command centers, and still wins. Other than maybe a game where he wins with just that push, right? Like like they base trade. But I've never seen him like rebuild up and then continue to win.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen someone lose 2 command centers versus 3 base circuits still take it down. But see, did you catch his reaction when the GG came in?
He was pumped.
Dude, he almost jumped out of his chair, man. He almost hit the ceiling with his head. He was so happy. It's just unbelievable.
This was not an easy group. I would be ecstatic if I make it out of this group. Getting through Action twice, and then, even though he lost to Speed, he had a good game versus Speed. It was just the multitask and the Vultures were just way too much damage. And of course, being behind on the race and Valkyries, just almost insurmountable lead. But I wonder what is going through his mind for a round of 16. Round of 16, we've already got crazy players sitting there waiting. I wonder what type of, group he wants to be in. Does he want to be in another Zerg group? Like, if I was Sulky or Hero, I don't know if I would want to pick C simply because he's gonna probably mech you. Whereas if you put another Terran in your group and they bio you, you're gonna have to be accounting for all the openers that Terran can actually pull out. You know what I mean? If you put 2 Terrans in the same
Yeah.
group with you.
Well, I mean, other than the players that are waiting there, there everyone else is pretty much Terran.
Yeah.
There's gonna be so much TVT in round 16. It's gonna be wild.
Yeah, who's made it out for Protoss? Bisu and Mini?
Bisumini and Rain are the 3 that made it
Okay.
out.
And then Snow is waiting, so there's 4 Protosses. I mean, I guarantee you C doesn't want to be in Snow's group. But other than that, I mean, it does seem like he's got a decent shot if he can get it into a Zerg group or maybe even into Sharp's group. I mean, I think Sharp's Terran versus Terran is really freaking good. But if he can get a map like Minstrel where he can have
Yeah.
uh, you know, potential early game map control, maybe with a little bit more solid play there, he could potentially split it in his favor and win some TVTs there.
I'm thinking about these groups right now, like thinking as we go forward, because I would imagine I'm not that I at this point, but Light should probably make it out as well, right? Like you would imagine that Light would make it out, and either JYJ or mine, you'd imagine one of them would make it out. You're potentially talking about 7, 8 Terran round 16. 16, man. 50% Terran. I mean, it could be the TVT fest in one of these groups, man. Like if you're sharp, are you good at TVT and you're like, I'm just gonna put them all with me when you start picking? Yeah,
TBT is that good?
that's what I'm saying. So if you're sharp and your TVT is that good, can't you just get them all in here? I mean, it's gonna be kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think if Sharp tries to do something like that, I imagine Sulky with his, swap pick will disallow that and just probably move one of the weaker Terrans to his own group, but I could be wrong. But we're getting a look at how today went. We had Speed beat Best in what I would say is the game of the day. Speed crushed it
Yeah.
there. Then we had C versus Action. C taking it. Then we had Speed closing it out versus C. Then we had Action obliterating Best in a rematch from previous seasons, and then a wild game to finish off on. And like you said, there's already 6 Terrans, so it could legitimately be half of the round of 24. Also half of the round of 16 be Terrans.
Uh, it's kind of crazy, man. It's really crazy. The question is, like, I feel like we had this last time with the Zerg group where there was like very limited Zergs, but still there was a Zerg winner. I mean, those two guys are right. They're just monsters.
They're obviously going to go far. They always go very far. And we got Group E tomorrow, like you were talking about. We've got Light versus Toolbo, aka YSC. And we've got Shine versus Jadong. That's going to be an interesting matchup, not just because it's going to be one of our first, if our first, ZVZ of the entire tournament, but also because both of these players are fan favorites. Shine, a lot of people like him because of his crazy strategies. Obviously, Jadong, everybody loves him because he's so godlike historically. He's a Golden Mouse winner. But one of them is going to be immediately into the losers match. So Shine, who consistently makes even round of 8 in ASL, he could be eliminated really quickly. Same thing for Jadong there. Jadong, he's really freaking good, but if you go into the losers match, you're going to have to fight Light probably at some point, or you're going to have to rematch versus Shine, which is going to be rough.
Yeah, no, that this is another tough group. I mean, my goodness, Light, Shine, Jadon. I mean, even YSC is a strong player. It's this is gonna be a tough one. I would imagine. I'm gonna say. I mean, after today, I'm scared to say anything. But Light, you would imagine, is probably the favorite to take care of this.
You would think so, but I think even just last week I was watching some on Light's YouTube. There were sponsored games between him and Jadong, and even though I think he ended up winning the series 3-2, he started off down 2-0. I was like, whoa! I was not expecting to see that. And also, there was an epic game from a few months ago. It was on Retro. Jadong was crushing Light, and then out of nowhere, Light went into Super Saiyan mode. Like I'm sure probably like 300 EAPM for like the last 5 minutes. He was dropping everywhere, multitasking like crazy. But Jadong has been playing well, at least from the games that I've seen versus Terran. So I guess there could be a world where Light loses, but it's Light, man. I mean, he's like the number one Terran for like the past 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't ever put him as not the favorite in any of these groups. I know he's underperformed a little bit here and there in ASL the last couple of years, but think about it. All the Terran who are winning all go to him for advice. So what does that tell you about its level?
Exactly.
You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, they literally go to his house for training. Every single one. You can type in barracks and Light, you can type in shiny and Light, you can type in scan and Light. All those videos will come up on his YouTube.
So you got that man sitting there waiting there. Tomorrow you would imagine that he's gonna be very prepped, very ready, and he does come up with some creative stuff, right? We saw him with the Valkyrie play against Shuttle Man and things like that. So that's pretty good.
Versus shuttles. I'm still struggling versus the mass shuttles. I tried to go Valkyrie one game, and it did work. Like I did shut down a massive drop on one of my expansions, but the problem is that I don't know where the shuttles are coming from. So unless you have
There's just so
mass,
many.
yeah, unless you have mass Valkyries at all your expansions, they're getting in somewhere. So I ended up having like 3 Valkyries, and I killed 1 drop. And then, he dropped the other base. My Valkyries weren't there, and that dropped, or that base got blown up. I was like, okay, I remember why you don't build Valkyries. Not only do they suck, they cost 9 supply, or building 3 was 9 supply, and then I have to have them everywhere.
Yeah, I envy these toss that can play. I'm just not good at shuttle man. I'm not a shuttle man. I'm just not. I don't know what it is. I'm a carrier man. That's what I've decided.
Well, yeah, carriers. I mean, once you
Ca-
get them,
ca-
there's like no counter.
That's it. And then this a wise man once told me, once you make carriers, bring a probe and build some shield batteries by them, so they're even
Yeah,
strong.
you can just heal them up. Oh, I got EMP'd. Yeah, that's cute. I just healed up for 3,000 shield.
A couple of cannons so the wraith can't come in. Just you know,
Yeah, that's all you need.
that's how you do it.
Well, I will say, facing off versus the Protoss players that can play the shuttle play, it is quite impressive to watch them in the replay because they're macroing out of like 25 gates and they're building Templars at the same time. Like they drop you, you lose your expansion, or you survive, but you lost everything. Then they come in with another drop like 20 seconds. So you're like, dude, how do you have Storm still? How's that possible? But either way, we are done today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully my microphone wasn't too bad. I'll have to replay the VOD to see how this suppression tool actually worked out. But I look forward to seeing you tomorrow in Group E.